Yes, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whoever you're with, it is Premier League time. We're back again. I'm joined by Ben. Ben, the mod father, the coffee connoisseur, the greatest man that I know. Maybe.
That's not
Who
true
knows?
at all.
It depends, Ben. It depends.
That's not
Today,
true at all.
Right now you are. Right now you are. Ben, how are you? How are you? Happy Friday to you.
Happy Friday. I'm a bit tired. It's been a very, very tough week with all the nonsense that's happening around London. So this morning I was able to get to work in 25 minutes, which is a massive plus, instead of taking almost 2 hours to get to work every day. But we're having a good day. It's the weekend. We've got a cup of coffee, and I might even crack into some hobnobs. So yeah, I'm just excited to talk about football.
Good. You know what I've done? I've not set the show properly. I have not set the show to monetize. I've not set the show to do anything, which is really, really stupid of me. I never, ever make that mistake. So bear with me 1 second while I do that, everyone. Ben, let's talk just quickly. Let's start. West Ham tomorrow. West Ham, it's their cup final, isn't it? But we've not played very well against West Ham lately. How are you feeling about it?
I'm just excited to watch a game of football. I'm excited to see some of the coaching that we've been watching on the Spurs YouTube channel, some of the little extracts of coaching that they've been putting on. Let's see if it comes to fruition. I'm excited to see Xavi Simons put on a Tottenham shirt for the first time. And we've got some really good players now. And let's see how it works. West Ham's always an exciting game. It's a proper rivalry. They hate us. We hate them. Let's watch a game of football.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Sorry, guys and girls, that was my fault. Normally, I've got the show all set up. I didn't because, as you'll see, and let me just quickly go through this, we have now got not one sponsor, but we've got 2 sponsors on the channel. So you all know about okjersey.com, another one of their really good shirts, okjersey.com. That's above Ben here. If he can point there, that's great. So if you go to okjersey.com or scan that QR code on the left-hand side, the shirts are roughly £15, as you'll see from the bar below. And if you use the code Savva, you will get an 8% discount. They take about a week and a half to come to your house. And look, I've got loads and loads of these shirts. They're really good quality. I've even got we've got a grey. We've got the old Gautier one. We've got some really funky training ground top with a really funky logo. Yeah. And the nice black one, which is getting its debut today. Aside from that, on the right-hand side, here, Match Bingo, which is your chance to win up to £250 on match day. You just need to scan that QR code, download the app, and then when you are depositing money, it's only, I think it's a minimum of a £5. You need to put in the code FHTV, and they will give you a 200% bonus. So if you put in £5, you'll get £10, for example. You will get a 200% bonus and a chance to win £250 on match days. You can either pick a match or you can pick 15 teams. If they all score a goal, you win a lot of money. So please get over there to OK Jersey and to Match Bingo. And thank you, Spoon Dangler. Yes, they're replica shirts, Spoon Dangler, as per the bar below, replica football jerseys, but there's always one, isn't there? There's always one very funny person. Ben, sorry, yeah. I'm very excited, Ben. Very excited to watch some football again. I guess what most people are going to be excited about is, as we bring in Dan E, I guess what most people are going to be excited about is Mawani, Xavi Simons. It's a bit of a new era tomorrow, and a couple of shiny new toys for the Spurs fans.
Indeed. We've been looking at Spurs signing quality players for a while. We've got a few of them in. We've got 4 quality players coming into the first team this season. Let's see how it works with a solid backline. I think the Bournemouth game was certainly a it was definitely somewhere to have some learning experience. West Ham will do a similar thing to us, I think. We will be the team that's expected to be a bit more progressive and be a bit more fluid in attack, especially with West Ham's poor form. Yes, they got a victory in their last game over Forest, but we'll be expected to be the team that's going for the jugular. And we need to show that not only can we be difficult to beat, we can create some real opportunities for ourselves. And hopefully they've had a week they've had half a week back from international duty. Let's see where the new players fit into this new system that he wants to. I'm excited. I'm excited to see some really good football from Tottenham Hotspur. And let's see if we can break a low block now with this new quality.
Yeah. Morning, Dan. How you doing?
Morning. Finally had some sleep, so yeah, good night.
I love it. I love it when Dan joins a morning show. He feels like how I felt about 3 hours ago when I woke up. Good morning. Get yourself a coffee. Beth, get Dan a coffee. Wherever you are, love, get Dan a coffee. Dan, are you excited? It's been, God, I can't even remember when we last played now. It must have been about 13, 14 days ago now. 13 days ago we played. Couple of new signings. You excited? Should Spurs fans be excited then?
I can't see no reason not to be. I mean, there's definitely, with a couple of the players we got that we can play, if we play them, that's going to be the interesting bit as well. But it's going to be interesting to see how it can go. I mean, I'm very looking forward to see Simmons play. I must admit, that's the one that I'm very interested in. Moani, let's see what he can do. But the one I'm definitely interested about is also where we're going to play Simmons. Are we going to play him as a 10? Are we going to play him on the left wing? Because he's just as capable as both. Played more on the left last season, if I remember right from what I read. But same goal assists from centre and left. So it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be interesting as well to see if Thomas Frank learnt from the last game he made with the mistakes that we made in that game. And I don't think the threat will be quite the same because their threat is going to be coming more down from their right-hand side, I think, where we can have Spence there. So it's going to be a very interesting game. And I must admit, I am very looking forward to seeing Simmons play.
Yeah. Yeah, it does very much feel like that, Ben, doesn't it? The you know, Xavi Simons is the one that was I suppose the big hope. You know, we made some good signings this summer, but Xavi Simons seems to be the one. If you will. I don't know why. It just seems to be that's the name. It's shiny. He's a flair player. Spurs fans very much looking forward to watching him play. Where do you expect to see him, Ben? Because we didn't sign the left-sided player. So do you expect to see him on the left or do you expect to see him slip straight into that number 10 position?
I'm expecting tomorrow with the way West Ham play football, they're playing a lot of games with three at the back at the moment with Todibo and Kilman and I can't remember who their left centre back is. They're playing at three at the back, so we're going to have to be more progressive. So I think we're going to see Kolo Muani play on the left to get down that back three. As much as I don't really want to see him play there, you need pace. And that's one of the things that Kolo Muani has, is he has aggressive pace. I'm expecting Xavi Simons in the middle to get hold of that ball and take midfielders on. That's what you need to do when you're playing against that sort of 3-5-2-ish formation. You need a player who's going to get on the ball and drag players out of position. Because if you allow them to sit in that sort of solid blancmange block, as it were, they're just gonna go, and it's gonna be difficult. So we need to grab a player and just go straight through them. We need ball carriers for this game, so we need to play all of our best ball carriers. Get past players and then move it on. Make them lose their shape. Because if we do what we did against Bournemouth and we allow them to come back into their shape too easily, it's going to be a very tough game. It's going to be a very tough game. But ball carriers. So Simmons is one of those guys that's going to get on the ball and make stuff happen.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, Dan, isn't it? Because I think a lot of fans, after we won the first two games, after we won the City game, a lot of fans would probably be expecting to go into this with 9 points from 9, right? Having having played Bournemouth at home, and then we're all sitting there going, "Oh my God, it could be 4 from 4," and then we get all the title challenge talk. But I actually think, looking back on the Bournemouth result, it is a bit of an eye opener, isn't it, mate? It's a bit of a, hey, a new manager comes in doesn't mean everything's solved in 3 games. It doesn't mean that everything's great. It means there's a lot of work to do. But it's important we don't lose this one, isn't it? It's really important that we build from the first 2 games.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that last game, you can definitely see the manager got outmanaged and the players got outplayed. Simple as that, basically, to me. They totally cooked us in every which way.
Yeah.
And he didn't change nothing until about 70 minutes. So hopefully, if we have the same sort of problems, he sees them quicker and fixes them quicker. But again, it was only the 3rd game, but you can only judge game by game as such. West Ham away, if I remember correctly, my memory's not great at the moment. We haven't got a great record there over the past couple of years, have we?
I don't think so. I can't remember. I don't know what last year it was. Oh God, I remember last year was the worst game I think I've ever seen in my life.
Year?
Yeah, we drew last year. That's a great question. I can't remember the last time we won there, Dan. There you go. That's what I'd say.
No, my memory's shot at the minute. He'll come back later. But it's going to be a physical game, I think, because West Ham are going to have to be more physical than us. Because I think you could look at the team and say, player for player, we've got a better team, and now we've got players like Simmons and Kudus there. You can definitely say I think we got more skill on the team. Physicality-wise, I think they're going to go all in on that aspect. This is their little cup game, basically. They always do seem to try, or they do seem to turn up or step up a gear whenever it comes to us. So I think we're going to have to watch it on the physical side of things as well. And I think we're going to have to take our time and take our chances when they come with pace and technique. And I think that's how we can get the better of them.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, lads, because, you know, West Ham, 2 defeats from their first 2, a very opposite start to us. Then went to Nottingham Forest, who, easy to say in hindsight, we're in a bit of a mess, obviously, with the whole Marinakis and situation, which obviously has unfolded in recent days. But they did get a very convincing win. I mean, 3-0 away at Forest is a good win for anybody. Now it's a different game going back to their home ground. Is it an advantage for us to be playing them at home? Because their fans are a bit on edge. Is it an advantage for us?
You see, I mean, West Ham at the moment, I mean, I've got a couple of West Ham fans. I've got a couple of West Ham friends, unfortunately. And people are not happy there in any means or manner. I mean, people talk about how things at Spurs were a bit of a mess and everything with people having the I think at West Ham it's actually significantly worse with the they've got with the owners. They don't like, a lot of them don't like the manager the way he is. I mean, I don't think Potter's a great manager, but I don't think he's a poor manager either. I just don't think he gives himself many options. It's going to be very, very unsteady at that ground with the fans there, because in some aspects, like, I'm only going by what my friend said to me, who's got a season ticket there. It's almost like the stadium almost wants them to lose. A lot of fans actually want them to lose because they don't like the manager and they want this owner out one way or another.
Yeah,
a lot of West Ham
it's starting
fans
to get to that toxic point where losing be good for the club in the long term rather than.
Yeah, there's now a manager waiting for them, Savva. It's one of those things. We all have conversation with West Ham fans, and West Ham fans are very. They're very. I don't know what the words to say. They believe in what's called the West Ham way, just like Spurs fans believe in the Tottenham way.
Ben,
the truth of the matter is, the West Ham way hasn't been seen since the 60s.
They don't care.
The football that has worked for West Ham is solid, very difficult to beat, very physical. The likes of David Moyes, the likes of Sam Allardyce, they're better managers over the last 25, 30 years have all been physical, old school managers. And there is a manager now waiting for them. This could be, if if we somehow tonk West Ham, it could be they get Nuno in. And I think Nuno would be an excellent manager for West Ham. He's got all the players that would, like Max Kilman he had at Wolves. He loves Max Kilman. I think Nuno would be a very good manager for West Ham. And also, happy birthday to Lubo.
Happy birthday, mate. I remembered that. West Ham fans are very blunt and blatant. West Ham fans, I mean, I'm only going by the ones I know as such, yeah? They have the attitude where they would actually be willing for their team to go down to get rid of their owners, and they wouldn't care less. It's fine, take us down for a couple of years. We'll deal with that. Just get rid of these owners. Couldn't care less.
I would agree with you, Dan. I think that would be catastrophic now. Because of the way their stadium works,
I agree.
It would be catastrophic for them. Them going down, with them not owning their stadium, and then having that enormous stadium in the Championship going to be half full. I know West Ham. I think West Ham, big up to them, have like one of the highest average season ticket attendances in Europe.
It's just their fans, Ben, are very much I don't give a attitude sort of thing, and they're more than willing to do that sort of thing. Whereas you'll get Spurs fans, I'll only relate to ours, who would be very, oh no, we won't go that far or this and that. Whereas West Ham fans are as blunt and blatant as Millwall, because I've got a lot of Millwall fans as friends as well. So, but I agree with what you're saying. It wouldn't do them no favours, obviously, but they're at that point where they really want these owners out and the manager. They'll go to any limit to get it on the fans wise anyway.
Oh, West Ham. Are they that bad, guys? Actually, before we go on to that, happy birthday, Lubo. I know it's not your 70th, but happy birthday. Did you wake up to any nice presents? And I mean that in a polite way.
Well, I had the present from my wife early because she was down in Bicester and got me a nice pair of trainers.
Nice.
So, just you got a mucky mind, Savage. You know what I mean?
Did they have the number 4? Did they have the number 14 on?
Did they have the number Archie Gray sneakers?
Listen. Listen. Ginola would be proud to wear the same number shirt as Gray.
Ginola. Okay, so the wife got you some sneakers. And are you out today? Are you having a meal? Are you getting drunk? What's going on?
We got cousins coming over for dinner tonight. So
nice.
With their
nice.
family.
Enjoy.
So
what trainers did you get?
Some Todds.
Okay.
I don't know what that is.
Which are nice.
Nice, good.
It's a brand of shoe.
Well done, Mrs. Lubo. Well done to Mrs. Lubo. And you will be going to the wonderful Olympic Stadium tomorrow, Mr.
Yes,
Lubo.
the London Stadium, the Athletic Stadium.
Yeah.
So listen, I'm very confident we're going to win tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing Xavi Simons and hopefully Kolo Muani.
Mm-hmm.
And looking forward to it. We're due a win. We haven't won any of the last 5. I think we've lost 3 and drawn 2. I think, or the other way round.
Yeah, someone said the last one was Jose's first game in charge.
Yeah, Jose's 3-2, November 19. November 19.
Wow, so we're literally going back 6 years since we've won at the athletics track. That's not good.
Not great.
Not good. That's not good. Are they as bad as we think? No. I mean, I look at some of their players and I think they've got some real talent there. When you look at the likes of Paqueta and Somerville and Jared Bowen, they've got some talent. So are they as bad or are they just a bit of a mess of a club at the moment? 2 things can be true at once, right?
Right. I think the complaint I heard from my pals last year who go to West Ham was that they had no legs in midfield. So they were outrun. Games were controlled by the opposition, and hence the poor league position. But we'll see. Listen, we'll see. They always raise their game against us, don't they? It's their cup final, and obviously they'll be buoyed up by a 3-0 win against Forest. So looking forward. Always enjoy going to see my team.
Talking of Forest, have you seen they've got their first injury under Ange? I'm not blaming him because it happened while the player was on international duty.
Yeah.
But you can't make this up. Ola Aina has got a hamstring injury and he's out for 3 months. I know he's not trained under Ange yet, but you got a lot,
isn't it? Well, he won't be inverting for a while, will he? That's for sure.
No, it just someone's just sent me. My mate Ash just sent me. It started and it said exclusive. Ola Aina set to be out for 3 months with hamstring injury sustained on international duty with Nigeria. You got a lot.
That's a shame. He's a good player. He's a good player.
You know what? I showed Beth, like, you'll never guess what. She's like, what? I said, Ange. She's like, what about him? And I showed her, she just started laughing. And the first thing she said on there was like, I wonder what Wolfie's face is going to look like, where she obviously follows this a bit. That was the first thing Beth said to me. Like, I wonder what his face is going to be like. He
messaged me. He messaged me this morning. He went, Ola Aina's out for 3 months. And I was like, I told you it's the curse of Ange. It's the hamstring injury. Like there's a hamstring ghost that follows him around every club. Like, do you reckon we'll ever get to a stage where this football fan base don't talk about an ex-manager? Like, it just feels like it goes on forever. But yeah, West Ham. Dan, I said, are they as bad as we think? And you straight away went, like,
yeah,
they are. Yeah, they're that bad.
I think they're a complete mess. If I'm going to be honest, I think they're in a fight for relegation this year, and they're going to be fighting very hard not to go down. Personal opinion. Because the whole place is that much of a mess at the moment. You're right on what you say. They've got some good players there, no two ways about it. I mean, what's his name on their right-hand side? Bowen, is it?
Yeah.
He's a player that I'd take all day long, I think.
Oh, for sure.
If you would have given me an actual option, it would have been a close pick between him and Kudus. If you're going to ask me, I personally would have accepted either quite happily. I think he's actually quite an underrated player, if I'm going to be honest. I like the way he plays. But there seems to be no communication, no link there, no chemistry, if you want to call it. I mean, how do the players look at the manager at the moment? I don't know. I just think they are in that much of a mess. They're going to be fighting relegation this year. I said that at the start of the season. I think West Ham, because the ones who came up this year, they're significantly better than the ones who came up last year. It was the fact that the three. I think at least two of them are. Whereas the ones that came up last year, they were just that bad. They was going straight back down. Whereas Sunderland, I actually think they've got a chance of staying up personally.
Yeah, those clubs they're going to have to win. They're going to have to win home games, aren't they? The Leeds is the Burnleys and the Sunderlands. They're going to have to win home games because I think they're going to get battered on the road. Most of them clubs. If I'm honest.
I can agree, but I think they're stronger. I think Sunderland team right now is stronger than any of the three that came up last season. So that means whoever's 16th, 17th is going to have a bit more of a fight. I mean, the only reason we were so clear is because the bottom three was that bad.
Yeah, they were.
So I think it's going to be a little bit more of a fight this year on the relegation side. I think there's at least one of them that can have a very good chance of staying up. And I think West Ham are one of the ones who, if it starts going wrong, it's going to go very wrong.
Both Leeds and Sunderland have some very good players in their team, and they've got
Leeds don't look too sad either. Yeah, I agree.
They've got the Leeds players under Farker have a really good work ethic, so they will score goals. They will score goals if they
See, that's my concern for them, Ben. That's actually my concern for them is that I don't think they will score goals. I look at their forwards. I don't know where their goals are coming from. That's only my opinion. And that goes for Sunderland and Burnley as well. I don't look at any of those three teams and think, have they got a guy that gets them 12 to 15? I don't know. That's just me.
Most teams don't have that anymore, Savva. Most teams don't have that sort of. They spread the goals around the pitch now. Not many teams of sort of those players get 15 goals a year. You have one person gets 5, another person gets 5. And it's only teams like Man City have Haaland who scores 25. And now Arsenal have Gyökeres who scores that big numbers.
Didn't he get 5 the other night?
Haaland, yes, he did.
5,
he did.
Didn't he get 5 goals and 2 assists or something in one night?
Something like that, yeah.
for Norway.
Jesus.
So
knows where the net is, doesn't he?
It depends if they spread the goals about. And Sunderland have some really good players. Like Granit Xhaka was a hell of a signing for them. I know we sort of his last season at Arsenal, he was excellent, and then he was excellent for a couple of years at Leverkusen.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a really good signing for them. I think that's going to be sort of their player they're all going to look up at. A lot of those mid players are going to look at him thinking, oh, he's been at Leverkusen and gone and won the league at Leverkusen, which is unheard of. We went from always losing to never losing, in the words of so Granit Xhaka is a great player for them, and I think he'll be a good leader for that team. He might be able to keep them up.
Can you see West Ham being drawn into that group? I know a lot of people have said that this season, at the beginning of the season, they fear for West Ham. But surely they've got, we said this before, and clubs have gone down, but surely they've got too much. Surely.
West Ham have gone down with better teams than this. They went down with Jermaine Defoe and Freddie Canute and Michael Carrick, and they went down with some brilliant.
That was kids, though. That was kids. That was kids they went down with, though.
Those were some brilliant.
No
kids,
two ways about it, but they were kids that they went down
kids.
with. They turned out to be some of the best players ever in the Premier League, no two ways about it. But when they did go down, I think that one was also down to the fact that they were kids.
They went down with 43 points, wasn't it? That was the highest points total that a team's gone down with.
Yeah, because that's the year we took Defoe, didn't we?
Yeah, that was the year.
And Carrick.
I mean, Lubo, are they relegation bad?
No.
I mean, I know this is kind of one of those things where we're talking about this like 24 hours or 28 hours, whatever it is, before we play them. So a bit dangerous to put the mockers on them. But are they relegation bad, Lubo?
I don't see it. I think they've got enough there. I think Potter's a decent manager. I think he did a decent job at Brighton. I think he walked into a complete nut house at Chelsea. Because Bowley had only just bought the club, and they were and Bowley then got rid of the entire old guard, got rid of Bruce Buck, all of Bruce Buck's team, Marina Gravoska, etc., and brought his own people in who had never worked on football at all. So Potter came in, and Clear Lake were buying the players. He didn't even have a say, I don't think. So I felt a bit sorry for him. It was just, I mean, in the end, it was probably best for him that he went. I think he'll be fine. I think he'll do okay. I think problem is they haven't got any money. So he's not had any proper money to spend on revamping the team, rebuilding the side the way he wants it done. And they've got no legs in midfield still. So, you know, for me, that's where I'm confident that we can do some real damage.
Well, look at this. This is the team they played against. Hopefully everyone can see that. It's a bit small on the right hand side. Hang on, let me see if I can blow that up a tiny bit. Bear with me. There we go. That's the team they played. So you've got Hermanson, Walker Peters, Mavropanos, Kilman, and Juve, Ward-Prowse, Souček, Bowen, Paqueta, Fernandez, and Fulkrog. But I think the interesting thing is when you look at this, when I go down and look at their bench, right? The likes of Callum Wilson, Somerville, Todibo, Wan-Bissaka, Rodriguez. That, you know, this isn't a squad that should go down, is it? Like, surely there's enough there. There's enough goals and there's enough at the back, isn't there, to stay up? Surely.
I think so. I think they're good enough. I think definitely 3 or 4 worse teams than West Ham. That's for sure. Again, it's just a question, you know, he's brought Fernandez in. He's brought was it Magassa?
Yeah,
he's brought
Magassa, yeah.
Literally, I mean, he bought 2 players very late in the window, didn't he? Because they didn't have any money. So
and they've just brought back Fabianski.
Yeah.
They bought from where?
From themselves. They bought him from themselves.
I think the way you can look at this one is, I mean, it's just the way I'm seeing it at the moment. If you look at West Ham, look at us last season. The only reason we was not in a pure relegation battle is, again, because the bottom 3 teams were that bad. We could, on another season, we could have gone down quite easily. if there would have been a better team out the bottom three. And I just think West Ham, not just with the players they've got, but just the club as a whole is in a mess, basically. And you could have said last season, like we all said, Spurs were way too player for player. They should not have been in 17th last year, come love nor money. But considering the mess with the manager, the mess with the fans, the mess with the club, you can obviously see the effect it had on the whole club as a whole. And I think we can look. I'm looking at West Ham like people looked at us last year. I think the club as a whole is a mess.
Dan, do you not think that if, say, Leicester out of the three had been the team that had put together maybe another 10 points and would have been dragged into it, you don't think they'd have got rid of Ange much sooner?
Do you know what? If it would have been in that situation, quite possibly. It wouldn't. Quite possibly, because I've still got my beliefs on what happened last season. That Europa Cup and getting in the Champions League was the priority of priorities. But that's just my opinion on that. And yeah, it wouldn't have surprised me because we could not afford to go down. It would have been it would have been something you might have had to do then. But I suppose we'll never know. But in this aspect, I think they're the team as a whole, the squad, the club, that is in a total mess in every which way with owners, manager, players, everything is just all out of it. So I think they could. It's not impossible for any team to go down basically when it's a complete mess, and we showed that last season. Again, if those bottom three was not so bad last season, we would have been in a relegation fight. And I bet there's at least one of these bottom three.
You sort of want to half agree with both of you guys because both of you are right in a similar way. I do think the Europa League was the priority for the previous regime on the board because they want that Champions League revenue, and we didn't have the squad to get top 5, top 4 in the Premier League. But Lubo is right. If those teams were better below us, I think Levy would have panicked. I think he would have panicked and made a change because
sure.
Imagine if Tottenham Hotspur would have been relegated. It would have been. It would be the biggest disaster, and it would be the biggest laughing stock of any big team. I think we would be the first big team to be like we're talking like a team that's always been around the top 5, top 6 since Blackburn really. But Blackburn is a long time ago now. Blackburn's a long time ago when they were winning when they won the title.
Ben, the thing is as well, you've got to think about is how many clubs of our size would have allowed a manager to get that low? So we can all say that he prioritised the champions. Like Arsenal would not allow their club to be in that position. City, Chelsea, these clubs might get to mid-table. Like Man United, I think Man United didn't, did they? Man United didn't with Ten Hag. Ten Hag got them really low, sacked. Yeah. Obviously, we know what's happened with the new manager, but no other club of our size would have allowed that. So, but Dan is right. I think the teams coming up are better. I just don't know if they're. I guess the question is, can anyone see Leeds, Burnley, or Sunderland? Can anyone see them picking up 10 to 11 wins, which is what they're going to need to stay up? They're going to need to get 10 to 11 wins to stay up, aren't they?
It depends on their home form, isn't it? Depends on their home form. Leeds are very good at home. I think they've shown they're a good team at home. They can be formidable with that crowd behind them. It's quite hostile to play at Ellen Road. We'll have to see. We've had moments in history. Remember when Hull were amazing at home, and they stayed up with Giovanni scoring those free kicks under Phil Brown. It is possible. They've got to pick up as many points as they can at home, and try and stink out a few draws away from home. Ellen Road is a nasty place to go. That is a very difficult old school ground to go to. Burnley will go straight back down. I saw enough of them when they played Spurs. They're a very poor team. They're a poor team, and they're a club that's almost willing to pick up the parachute payments. They're almost willing to do it. They had Vincent Kompany, who's now doing rather well at Bayern Munich. So it's not like they didn't have a bad manager, but I don't think they're ever going to be that club. I don't think they're ever going to be in that club that's going to give them loads of money to try and stabilise themselves in the Premier League. I think Sean Dyche did a miracle. But I think the league has moved on since Sean Dyche was at Burnley. The league has moved on. So we'll have to see how their home form is.
I must tell you, apart from the top four, sorry, Dan, I think the bookies are going to earn a fortune this season because there are going to be so many unpredictable results. Very. We've already had strange results. You know, Palace have started off well. They've gone to Villa and won. They've gone to Chelsea and drawn. You know, everybody had those two games down as home bankers. You know, Spurs have won at City and lost at home to Bournemouth. Just for us. So, you know, there's going to be a lot of games that are going to be surprise results.
I think the other thing you can look at with the bottom three, Ian, is I mean, I thought we was going to go into a bit more of a relegation battle than we did. And at the end of the day, we didn't have no pressure on us for a relegation fight. The bottom three were done and dusted. The thing that might have an effect on this one is where I think Sunderland are going to be the sneaky ones. I think they're going to be able to put more pressure on who's 16th and 17th, which for me, I think is Brentford and West Ham, than Leicester or whatever was able to put on us in 17th place. And then you'll see how much can players handle that pressure of relegation looking over their fight? How much can the club handle it, fans handle it, and everything else? I just think there's going to be that little bit more tighter pressure down there. Whereas when we were 17th, we could sort of look over our shoulder and it got to the point where we're not going nowhere. Whereas if one of the teams would have been that bit better and been able to put that bit of pressure on us, would we have folded even more? And I think that's what the effect you might see.
We won those three games, didn't we, in Feb? We beat Brentford, then Man U, and then Ipswich. And at the end of that, we were 16 points. I think it was 14 or 16 points clear of the relegation zone. So by the time 2 weeks later, or a week and a half later, when we played Alkmaar in the Europa, we were well clear. So it wasn't a worry. So for Postecoglou to rotate at the time, and you know, Romero came back in March after 3 months out. Mickey came back late as well. You know, the league was done, wasn't it? Whether you finished 17th or 13th.
There was no pressure, was there? Whereas this year, I think there can be a lot more pressure on whoever's 16th, 17th sort of thing than we would have had. And that can have a big effect.
The other thing also, Dan, is Sunderland have got a great home support. I mean, that place is rocking. You got 48,000. It's a big crowd. I know what they're like. You know, the North East fans love their football, and that could be a factor as well in relation to Sunderland staying up. It's going to be a good season. I'm looking forward to this season.
Well, who else do you see? I mean, like, lots of people talking about Everton having a good season this year, and I think they will have a much better season. Moyes is a top manager. I think Grealish is a top signing for them, by the way. I'm still gutted that we've not got him on our left-hand side, but we move on. If we're talking about Leeds, Burnley and Sunderland, hang on, let me scroll to the bottom. Who else is going to be in that mix? Dan has mentioned Brentford and West Ham. Who else? Somebody's got to be down there, right? Who are we saying is going to be down there in that bottom half of the table?
Where do you think your second team are going to finish, Sav?
My second team, Charlton?
No, Villa.
Villa. I think Villa will be. I think Aston Villa will be right up there. I think Villa will be in that 5th, 6th, 7th battle with us. I think once they get going, they got some new players in. Their manager's too good. They've got too many good players. They'll be okay.
I mean, you look at that. You look at that bottom 6, and there is one promoted side in the bottom 6 at the moment. They've all had decent starts, haven't they?
Well, it's 3 games.
One out of 3, but the others are okay.
Well, look, what I was going to say is this: if we bring this kind of in a roundabout way back to our game with West Ham, this is where I think it's really important that I always think that after 5 to 7 games, you start to see a bit of a pattern, don't you? You start to see cream rises to the top a little bit. You start to see who's going to be in that race for the top 4, who's not, all that kind of stuff. But for as bad as we're saying West Ham are, Brentford are, yada, yada, and all these teams are, if we don't win tomorrow, guys, if we were to lose tomorrow, suddenly we're level with West Ham. And suddenly we've not pulled away. So I think it's really important that we get that win tomorrow and start solidifying ourselves in that top half. And I know people think that's crazy after 4 games, but if you've got 9 points after 4 games, you have already, haven't you? You are well in that top half. So I think this is a big game, guys. I think this is bigger than normal. I really do. The Bournemouth game kind of dictates that for me.
Sure. I think we've got a better setup against West Ham. I think we totally let Semenyo run us ragged when we played Bournemouth. I don't see, apart from Burren and Paqueta, I think we've got the right tools to be at control West Ham's offense. Whereas I think Semenyo was too much. I think Semenyo's top class. I think you'll see Semenyo at a big team in the next year. I think he's
quality player.
He's a different level to what we've seen. He's going to be at a big club. Whereas I think Spence is in good form at the moment, and I think our midfield is in relatively decent form. If we can lock down that midfield, I think we'll have to see. But football isn't paid on paper; it's paid on grass. If we turn up tomorrow and we allow us to be out control the game of football, and hopefully with Simmons in midfield, hopefully we can create a bit more, which means we can hurt a few more teams. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, but I think we've got a better setup against the West Ham than we do against the Bournemouth. And West Ham, apart from Burren, I don't think Burren is on Semenyo's level. I don't think Paqueta is on Semenyo's level. We'll have to see, but I think we should be player for player. I think we've got good setup.
Do you agree, Lubo?
Yes, I do. I think we'll be fine. You know, you saw the way Frank set up at Man City. So for me, I just think, depending on the team he picks, you know, obviously will determine how attacking we are. With City, he just played on the counter, didn't he? For him, that was. But what I loved there was, by and large, he tried the high press and it worked, didn't it? It worked. So
yeah, it's going to be interesting, right? Because in the games we've played so far, we were due to dominate Bournemouth and didn't. We were due to dominate Burnley, and let's be fair, second half I think we did. First half I think we struggled a bit.
Yeah,
Man City, we weren't due to dominate. So I'm kind of waiting for that one game where we do dominate, if that makes sense. I'm waiting for that one game where we're the team in control. We've got the ball. We put the. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense, guys? I'm not diminishing what we've done. I just think I'm waiting for that one game where we have that complete performance. We're in control.
Will he start? Interesting. Will he start with Bentancur and Polina in midfield, or will he go more attacking and push Bergvall in, or maybe Sarr?
Is Bergvall more attacking? There's my question.
More attacking than who?
Score, he doesn't assist. He doesn't create. Is Bergvall more attacking?
Well,
I think he's a better ball carrier.
Yes, I mean you saw.
Yeah,
that shot he had against Burnley in the first 35 seconds. He was in the box.
Yeah,
turned, put the shot in. You know,
I'm asking though, if in general, is he more attacking? I don't want to get confused between being a good ball carrier and actually, because this might be me, and I know Dan wants to say something. I can see this might be me, but I've never watched Bergvall and actually thought he's a really creative footballer. I keep hearing, put him in the 10 or attacking midfield. I don't see him as that. I don't see that he is that.
I think he's more attacking and one more for pressing forward. But the problem I have with him, which obviously is going to take him a bit of time, of what I saw nearly every time he played, bar a moment or two, is you'll get plenty out of him in stage 1, plenty out of him in stage 2. But then when it comes to the final third, he never seems to get the pass right or get the shot right. Very, very rarely anyway. 8 times out of 10, he won't get that last pass or shot in there. So like he said just there, with progression and pressing forwards, yeah, I think he is more attacking, but I don't think he's good enough yet. Give him more training, more time, I think he will definitely improve. But it's his final third that I think he lacks at the moment. That final pass or that final shot or whatever else is what he's lacking. But progression-wise and pressing forward, yeah.
Yeah. We
So
had,
Dan,
we
let
had
me-
a certain amount of the game against Bournemouth after Bergvall came on, didn't we? I know we hardly created anything.
What's that,
But
mate? Sorry.
When Bergvall came on against Bournemouth, the game did tilt very slightly towards Spurs in terms of possession without creating anything. The only shot we had on target was his. I thought he did a good job for a period of time when he came on late against City, worked really hard, and I thought we had a decent game against Burnley. So for me, he's made a decent start. Nothing great, made a decent start to the season. The limited time he's had, and we talk about kids, and we talk about how come we're the only club that don't have these kids coming through. And
we're not though. We're not.
Well,
we say that we're not.
Well, for me, someone like Bergvall's got to be given a run, and that way he will improve, no question. And if he's got Polina next to him, I think absolutely fantastic. You've got an absolutely superb professional, seasoned pro next to him who will help him, guide him, talk to him. And I think,
Is Bergvall better than Bentancur to start? Is he ready to start over Bentancur?
No.
I know there's some people in the chat who can't quite understand what I do for my job. I'm posing.
Yeah, I would answer that, Sam.
Is he ready?
I would answer that and say depending on the opposition.
Sure. So tomorrow away at West Ham,
I would play Bergvall.
because Chris has made a good point. Big up Chris, the quiz master from my. I was about to give my address then. I was going to say the address of my quiz. I was like, what? One going to kill me. Can you imagine?
I must put a t-shirt on for a show.
Chris has made again, this is an interesting theory. He said Paulinho and Bentancur to establish control. Can go more attacking later if we need Sarr. Bergvall isn't ready to make a difference in these games for me. And this is quite an interesting one. Like, as a manager like Frank, does he look at it and go, right, this is a big game. This is to get 9 points on the table. Let me go with the two senior pros who are Bentancur and Paulinho. And then I can add a bit more energy in the second half from Sarr, from Bergvall. Or does he go, well, actually, no, in a game like this, I can have Paulinho as my number 6 and I can have Bergvall or Sarr who have got more in the engine back and forth from the get-go. This is the interesting point for me. And this is why whenever we talk, Lubo, about youth playing, I just don't think it's as easy as just going, go on, just play. Because what do you turn around and say to Bentancur? What do you do? By the way, Rodrigo, we want you to sign a new contract. However, Bergvall's going to get the next 10 games in a row in front of you in centre mid. Like it's a delicate balance for managers, right?
I would start with Bergvall tomorrow and Bentancur on Tuesday. Personally,
Okay,
that's how I would do it. A 1-0 win on Tuesday is good enough for me. This is
with that one. The question I've got is more on, does Paulinho start? Because from what I've seen of him, I don't think he's quite match fit yet. I think he's fit, but not quite match fit. Two total different things. I know a lot of people think fit is fit, but match fit and fit, two different things. I don't think he's quite match fit yet. And I could understand if we didn't start with Paulinho and start with Bentancur and Sarr personally. But I could also understand starting with him as well with Bentancur, because I think Bentancur and Paulinho can control a midfield better than either one of them two with Sarr or Bergvall personally. And when you're playing a game like West Ham as such, West Ham is midfield is definitely a place that you can win the game if you get control of it. Yeah. And I think Paulinho and Bentancur have got more chance of getting control in the midfield than, say, Sarr and Bentancur or Paulinho and Bergvall, whatever.
interesting.
Well, listen, if West Ham don't have legs, we need legs in midfield.
Mm-hmm.
So he may, you think about it, he may leave Bentancur out, may play Simmons 2 up front with Sarr and Bergvall for the legs. Possibly.
He might decide to have 2 sitting midfielders and allow the fullbacks to be a bit more open, because they are. We don't know. They did someone in the chat about, I don't know who it was, said they did play 4 at the back at Nottingham Forest. But maybe if they are reverting to their 3 at the back formation, maybe we do need to get our fullbacks up the pitch and make sure that their fullbacks aren't able to go up the pitch. So we match them fullback for fullback, not go 3 at the back, but have 2 sitting. So you have Bentancur and Paulinho sit in, and Paulinho drops into the back 3 when need be, and then have 2 more. So instead of playing Spence, we could play Udogie, who's going to go further than their wing back and either cause their centre backs to be dragged out of position, or it drags their fullbacks back into. We don't want their fullbacks up the pitch if they're playing 3 at the back. So we might want to be more progressive on the wings and cross the ball in. And what that allowing the fullbacks to be further up the pitch, it allows Simmons and it allows Kolo Muani to go more central, which means we can overload their centre backs more and give them something more to think about. It might be something as simple as that. Having more width creates more space in the central positions for us.
The other key area, as well as that, are dead balls as well. Because if you look at an aerial dominance, because if you look at the goals that West Ham gave away against Chelsea, I'm sure there were 2 or 3 headers in there, if my memory serves me correctly.
I think we have to start Spence as well, because we need at least one of our fullbacks to be able to defend, because Udogie and Porro are not fullbacks. They're wingbacks. And Porro proved that he cannot defend come love nor money, bar a game here and there. He is not a defensive player.
He's not a fullback, is he? He's not.
No, he's not. And nor is Udogie. Udogie can defend better than Porro, but for me, that's not exactly hard. I think Porro's defending is bad. He's got better, but he's still bad. He's not a defensive player. He's an attacking wingback. And if we're going to play one or the other, Spence has to start. So even if we start Spence on the right and Udogie on the left, one way or another.
Spence on Jared Bowen is key. Absolutely.
Yeah. Then it's Spence and Porro. Yeah.
Do you know what I would say about? Do you know what I would say about Porro? I feel like Porro always puts in an excellent shift at fullback when Spurs go defensive. What I mean by that, when Spurs have got a lot of men behind the ball and work really, really hard, I feel like he's really good. When we play our normal game and he has to do normal right-back duties, being switched on, following the runner, positional sense, those are the games, Dan, where I feel like you can see he's not a natural right-back. Because
when he hasn't got someone holding his hand.
Yeah. So when like in the back end of last season, when we dropped into those games where it was literally 10 men behind the ball, Porro and Udogie are excellent when they don't have a lot to think about. For me, a top fullback, though, is when you're playing your normal game, doesn't have to be told when to drop, when to go forward, doesn't need to, knows where his man is at all times. So, but the thing is, Porro's such a good footballer that I think it's a real conundrum, because for me, I don't think Udogie or Porro are actually good defensive fullbacks. Jed Spence, for me, is the best defensive fullback we've got. But what do? Do you go Jed Spence at right back with Udogie at left back? Do you go with Jed Spence at left and Porro right? What do you do?
Well, that's why them two sort 3 at the back so much. And I still think we've got a team that actually suits for it when you're playing 3 at the back more. Yeah. Because then the wing back can actually do their job, what they're actually best at. Neither of them are good defenders. And then whenever one of them goes forward, you've still got the cover at the back. Or if one of them gets caught out, one of the left or one of the right can come over and support them. And I agree exactly what Savva said. I think you just put that good. As soon as he's on his own and got to do a fullback job, that is when you see him start making a complete mess of things. But as long as he's got someone there to back him up, or at least got someone coming back to back him up, you do see a better side out of him. I agree.
Having said that, Dan, Semenya would have killed pretty much every fullback in the Premier League against us the other week, wouldn't he? He was superb.
Yeah, but not to that extent. Porro got absolutely embarrassed in every way. He didn't do it to Spence quite the same. He did, if that would have been Spence there, I think we would have seen. Don't get me wrong, it would have still been trouble there, but I don't think we would have looked as much of a mess. They basically done us exactly the same way that Ange got done all the time. They went straight for the left-hand side. They ignored Spence, basically, because he can tackle. They went straight for Porro because they know he can't defend come love nor money. And they totally destroyed us on that side. Now, if Spence would have been on that side, I don't think we would have I don't think we'd have had quite the same trouble. I'm not saying Semenyo wouldn't have caused a lot of trouble, but Spence can actually defend.
That's right. And we may have had more of a foothold in the game, which is where the problem is
you should have changed it.
Play either side, Dan. So, you know, you've got to pick your team. You don't know what side he's going to play. Personally, what I've done, I would have probably played Spence on the right, Udogie on the left, with Semenyo playing left. But I mean, he did that, but it was too late. The game had gone by then. But it was interesting. Did you see Spence's cameo for England on Tuesday night?
I don't watch international games unless it's a big event. I'd rather do what I did the other night, and that's lay down and watch UFC in Paris, mate. I'd rather watch that all day long than watching them play. Much more fun. Because
I think what Tuchel will learn from watching Spence and watching Spurs, I thought he had a really good little cameo. Spence is that he can use Spence where England play against a team with a really good winger. He can play him as a 1-to-1.
It was the last game he played, wasn't it? The game the other day, wasn't it?
Yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah. No, I didn't watch that one or the first one. The first one, like I said, I was watching the UFC. I mean, I prefer that to football anyway, but I didn't see him play. I just saw the result that he'd had played quite well when he came on.
I mean, you know, for a player to come in and nullify Saka and Salah, I think he's superb. You know,
he's a good player, and it's starting to show that we have actually got a good player there. I mean, because if you go back, let's say 12 months, maybe 18 months, that is a player we'd have quite happily got rid of, or a player that would have gone, and we wouldn't have even buttered an eyelid. Basically, I think a lot of us were saying, like, why is he even at the bloody club? Basically.
That's one that Conte got wrong in terms of his fullback positions. Is one that Conte got wrong,
or maybe he just wasn't quite ready then,
or maybe he's knuckled down a lot, hasn't he, Spence?
Yeah,
he's knuckled down a lot.
Yeah. There could be a lot.
There's no doubt. Neil Warnock said it. There's no doubt the guy has ridiculous amounts of talent. He's just got to show it now, and he's getting better and better and better, and he's showing how defensively good he is and how good of a ball carrier is as well.
Yeah.
As well, I think as out of all our fullbacks, I think he's the best ball carrier of all our fullbacks as well. As in close control of the ball. I think Porro is the best passer. I think Udogie is the best runner. And he showed that at Udine. He was an excellent runner, arriving at the back post to create width on the pitch. I think Spence is the best defender, and I think he's the best ball carrier out of the three of them.
If you add the players up together of their capability, there's so many points you can go through. I would say Spence is the best all-round player out of Udogie and Porro sort of thing. Okay, Porro's better at certain things, Udogie's better at certain things, but if you was to add up all the skills, whatever, I think Spence is the better all-round overall player sort of thing. And also depending, I mean, no matter how much people have slated him and everything, me being one of them, say, why the hell, and it just being another club buy, turns out it wasn't a bad little Levy buy, was it?
No, if you got Spence defensively and Porro attacking, put them together, you probably got Paolo Maldini, haven't you?
I wouldn't go that far.
No, I wouldn't go that far.
I wouldn't go that far, mate.
I wouldn't go that far.
But I get the comic you're making out of it. But I would say overall, he is the best all-round player because he's the best defender, no two ways about it, out of them. But he's also got more than enough capability of going forward.
Yeah.
So I would say, for me, whenever I start that, whether it's 5 at the back or whether it's 3 at the back, whether it's 5 at the back or 4 at the back, Spence is the first one I pick, either on the left and then Porro, or I pick him on the right and then pick Udogie. He's the first pick for me.
He's earned that shirt. The other players have to take that shirt off of him now. It's the beauty of meritocracy. He's earned that shirt. Now someone has got to re-earn that shirt. Udogie needs to get his finger out, and he needs to start and when he comes off the bench, because we will have to rotate during games to stop injuries. We don't want any silly injuries coming up to Christmas, and that's what killed us last year.
Yeah.
Well, when Udogie does get a chance to play, he's going to have to hit the ground running, and he's going to have to either make assists or score goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Spence has proved himself. I think he'd actually proved that he was more than worth playing. Basically, I mean, I don't think he's quite as special as some people are making out. Like he's the best fullback here or wing back, whatever you want to call him. Let's just call him fullback for the sake of it in the Premier League and whatever. Like some people are saying, I think people are getting a little bit overexcited on that aspect. But you can see there's definitely a lot of potential and more to come from him, and I think he's proving that he is good. But there's significantly more. There's significantly more to go. But yeah, he should have been staying in that team last season. He had a very good, 2 or 3 months? I think it was nearly 3 months, wasn't it?
3 months.
And then the second Udogie was fit, he got dropped.
Yeah.
And I think he'd already earned his right to basically be there from there, basically. But with the consistency overall, I think we've seen out of him when he plays, I think he's the first starter on there, basically. Like when it comes to the wing backs, full backs, whatever way you want to put it. I mean, yeah, okay. There's been times he hasn't looked too great. You can say that about the whole team, but I'd say the majority of the time, you at least get a 7 out of it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
What you need.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. Sorry, guys, I had to take a call. I think it's going to be interesting what he does moving forward, because again, this always falls back into, doesn't it? When we're buying certain players for certain managers, then the next manager comes along and picks them up, and it's like, well, what's he going to do? Because these aren't the types of fullbacks that Thomas Frank normally has. But he did do a job with what's his name at Brentford? Who's with Keane Lewis Potter? Do you remember? He took Keane Lewis Potter, who was a forward player, and made him into a good marauding left back. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, Jed Spence. He's got to start, hasn't he? He's got to start somewhere in this team. He's got to, for me, I don't know. That's just for me. I've definitely started him.
I think the team what the guys put up here earlier will be usual back five, keeping it with Spence at left back. I think he will start with Polina and Bentancur. Xavi Simons, I think he'll play Richie on the left, Kolo Muani through the middle, and Kudus on the right. That's how I see him starting.
So you think Richarlison will be on the left?
Yes.
Yeah. In a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-1-2-3?
Maybe
a 4-1-2-3 or a 4-2-1-3.
I think we'd be better off starting with basically 4-3-3, but using the centre one as a defensive midfielder. I think we'd be better off having Paulini there as defensive midfielder, so that Porro and Spence can press forward at the same time, and he can come back and make it free at the back like we were doing against City, basically. I think that might be the better way to do it. And then obviously if we're progressing forward, he can come forward, whatever else, and cover the middle. There's a couple of ways you can do this one.
I don't see him rotating too much, to be honest, between now and tomorrow and Tuesday. I can maybe see 1 or 2 changes for Brighton, possibly, depending on fitness and how the guys step up in terms of energy and how long they go for, etc., and the red zone. But and then you got Doncaster after, where I'm sure he'll play plenty of the fringe, plenty of the squad players.
Someone is at the GAT1.
So you're going with something like this, right? Is that what that's what we're saying? Something like that?
It's interesting.
I would like to see Benson Bergvall there like this, but I think he'll go personally. I think he'll go with Bentancur.
I would agree with you. I think Bergvall isn't strong enough to play in this game yet. He needs to he needs to go to a Friday night dinner and eat loads of latkes. He needs to put some weight on. He needs to put some weight on.
So you're saying you think he'll do that?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
It's closer.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it? Because in training, they're saying that Muani's been spending a lot of time on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether or not he's going to stick with Richarlison as a kind of battering ram type forward. But it is for me, it's a real concern. I've still maintain that if we play Solanke or Richarlison through the middle all season, I still don't think those two score enough goals. I genuinely don't. I think we've seen it in the first 3 games. Richarlison's got 2 wonderful goals, but when it comes to the bread and butter of being a striker, it looks absolute toilet. Like
he's a scorer of great goals and not a great goal scorer.
Absolutely, Ben. Absolutely, that is 100%.
It's Richarlison.
Yeah.
He's a bit like not in the same mold, but Peter Crouch was that. Peter Crouch was a scorer of great goals, but was never a.
He was never prolific, was he?
What's going on here?
Crouch.
I think the only way you can really unlock Richarlison's goal scoring ability is if you whip balls in at pace and you don't give him any second to think. The moment you give Richarlison 5 seconds to think, he has a brain fart. So if you're going to get Richarlison to score goals, you need to whip balls in on his head. Almost like if you remember when we lost to Fulham on Ange's 3rd game, when that Perisic cross. Perisic used to love playing with Richarlison because he could whip it in with both feet. If you put balls on Richarlison's head in the box, he scores goals. He's a great head. That's his strength. He's good at heading the ball. So that's the way you get 4 goals.
Perisic could cross the ball as good as anybody, and I don't think a lot of people realise that how good he actually is at crossing that ball, and he always was. I thought he was a brilliant player.
His strength, Dan, his strength was he didn't need to beat a player, just dropped his shoulder.
No, he was
a little bit of space, and he whipped
excellent player, mate. When he was in Milan, he was brilliant. Like that, I watched him so many times, and for me, I think he's an extremely underrated player for what he was. It was a shame he got that injury, basically, because do you know what? Even if he was how old is he now? I mean, I'd have had him as a 33-year-old player.
I'd have him now, Dan. I'd have him now.
Imagine him and Poro on either side crossing them balls in there. That would have been a deadly pair. I personally think Perisic, he was a player I was very happy when we got him at Spurs. I think he's a very, very underrated player. The reason he's actually good as well is because his defending is respectable. I wouldn't say quality, but respectable. And he was one. He was a player who can still play now because he never relied on pace. He was never quick. He was never fast. Like I've said before with strikers, all strikers that rely on pace, players like Son, as soon as they start losing their pace, you start seeing them go downhill. Whereas people like Kane or whatever, you will see last longer because they don't rely on pace for their game. And Perisic was one. He could cross that ball from anywhere. He could even beat his man, and he wasn't even quick because he was just. Yeah. I think he was a very underrated player.
Couple of step overs, move the ball slightly, smash it in. Incredible accuracy.
I was very happy when we got him, but that's done and dusted.
It'd be nice if Kolo Muani, he moulded him into a left-sided forward, so you could have that. Bring Harry back next season with Kudus on the right. What a front three that would be. That would be.
We'll have to think about that in the new year.
Yeah. See, for me, I feel in 2 ways about this. By the way, first and foremost, let's just say that this is the first time I think I've ever done an hour and 10 minutes of a show and not had 1 subscriber. Guys, there's 550 of you in here. Not 1 new subscriber in the show and only 170 likes. Come on. I know there's no transfer window. I know we've not played a game, but we're out here trying to give you content. Look at all my guests have given you a couple of hours of their morning. Come on. You lot can smash that like button and you can subscribe. Come on. To not have 1 is utterly appalling. I'm in 2 ways about this, guys. I've said this for as long as I can remember. This worries me that whoever we chuck on that left is being shoehorned out there, whether it's Muani, whether it's Richarlison, whether it's Johnson. It just feels like I don't feel like we're ever going to get that balance right until we address that position. Am I worrying too much about it, or does everyone see what I mean? Like, I like natural balance.
He might try and make Savva. He might make Kolo Muani his version of Mbeumo at Brentford, but just on the other side of the pitch. That player that's going to be there at the back post that's going to score, because they haven't got it right yet. But Brentford used to score goals in like the first 40 seconds. They always used to do it, and Burmo was always the person that was always there to get a goal early. Maybe he's going to think of Kola Moani as his Burmo type player that's going to be at the back post and is going to be a bit more of a ruthless finisher. But he's a much better footballer than, let's say, Brennan Johnson. He's a better ball carrier than Brennan Johnson. So he might be thinking of doing that and allowing Richarlison to occupy those two centre-backs, which will be out, or three centre-backs in West Ham's case if they play for it at the back. Kola Moani being on that left side, it almost has a free role.
The way I'd be playing, I wouldn't be starting Simmons in the middle. I'd basically, there's a good chance I'd actually play him on the left because I'd play Paulinho as the defensive midfielder, basically. Bentancur there.
Who would you have as your creator?
Put Sarr there. I'd use Simmons still as the creation sort of thing, but from the left to drift inside like he did. Doesn't
that defeat the whole point of us going and signing a playmaker, though, to just shove him out on the left?
That. But you can have him drift in and do it. You can play it from the left basically, and have him come drifting in while Spence comes up or whatever. And that I'd definitely, if you want the fullbacks coming forwards, I think it would definitely help to have the defensive midfielder there basically. But I could see him starting there. He created just as many chances and scored just as many goals when he played on the left. If I remember right, he actually played on the left more than he did. In the middle. I think it was only by a couple of games, but
perhaps
his GA was the same
situation. Remember when Modric we'd have Palacios and Huddleston in midfield, and Modric would play on the left, and then that firstly he would drift in, and it'd almost make it in a like a flexible 4-4-2 in that way. He would drift in. And then that fullback.
You know the problem that you've got with doing this though. We're doing that thing where we're shoehorning players into positions that aren't theirs. And we're taking away from what their actual skill set is. So we're weakening two positions to strengthen one. And I don't know. I just feel like if we do that, we're just going to constantly chuck the ball out wide. We're never going to actually play through teams in the middle, are we?
I can see where you're coming from on that one, but from what I've seen of him, Simmons, he's every bit as good out on the left as he is in the middle. So, but I totally get what you mean. If you want to do it from the middle, then obviously he's got to be the number 10. I'm just looking at different options of way things can get done.
This is why I hate that we didn't buy what we needed. This is why I hate that we didn't. So when people say things like can't do everything in one window, it's okay. We had a great window. I feel we missed a massive opportunity on that left-hand side to really get a great balance in the team. To really to really turn around and say, right, Kudus, you're our guy on the right. Boom. Simmons, you're our guy in the middle. Boom. Fofana, you're our guy on the left. Boom. You know, I really feel that we missed that opportunity. I really do. So, and I won't apologize for feeling that. So, Benji, welcome, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Nice to see you back, buddy. How you doing? You okay? Good holiday?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Lovely holiday. Yeah. Got some colour. Got some nice replica Spurs shirts to go with it. So it's all good, mate. It's all good. How are you feeling? The window finally shut. How are you feeling overall about it?
Yeah, you know what? I'm happy overall. I think the best thing you could say about it is Tottenham had a good transfer window for Tottenham. I feel like, you know, you could have always had a little bit more in there. I think going off of what you said a minute ago, it would have been nice to have set players for set positions. You know, we are missing on that left quite a lot. But I feel like overall we brought in some good quality players. Something that really and truly, for the amount that we brought in, we've not really done before. So it's very difficult to complain given the overall result, if that makes any sense.
Oh, I'll complain.
Every player we got was more than good enough to walk into the position as such, basically. Not just good enough to fight for it. Literally, out of the 4 players we brought in there, I mean, okay, you can put Danzo and tell that we got them as well, but the main 4 players we're talking about, they walk into that first team, basically, as far as I'm concerned. And by Spurs standards, that's good, but we needed more.
Would you guys say that if it hadn't have been for the again, I don't know if this is true. Don't shoot me, everyone. The rumours that all came out on the last day that Solanke had an injury and was out for a few months, and then all of a sudden we got Mawani. Does anyone else think we would have got Mawani anyway? Because you've got to remember that 48 hours before the deadline closed, he was due to be going to Juve before it fell through. Does anyone feel like that was planned, or was this very much a last day kind of last day? We're like,
no, I don't even think it was looked on the light side of it, in the aspect of one thing Levy could do, like, there's a deal, I'll have that one, thank you. I think that was a bit of that one. It was there and he took it, basically. I mean, the one with Moane going Juventus, that just totally fell to pieces. And I just think he was there and we took him, basically. I don't think it was planned specifically for him as such, but it was there and we took it because we needed that as such.
I think the transfer plans and strategy got ripped to pieces this summer by Frank, personally. I think he's come in, he's seen what he's being offered. He's not happy with it, and he's changed things. And I think things will only get better and more organised.
Out of question, I'll ask then, yeah? I mean, because I've seen a couple of people talk about this, and I think it's actually a fair point. We needed someone on that left. So should we have gone, because we couldn't get Savino at the time, like we couldn't get him, it weren't going to happen. Should we have gone and got someone for the left to take that place? Or do we actually become one of those clubs now that says, do you know what, we couldn't get our man right now, step back, we'll deal with what we've got, we're going to go for what we want again and get what we want?
I didn't understand why they didn't go for Grealish. For me, that was an obvious one.
Even if
it's on a loan, and it fills in the gaps, it fills in the time period before Frank can go after players that he does want next summer. For me, that was a no-brainer.
Me and Savva spoke about that literally at the start of the window. Like, Grealish is there for loan, let's snap him up. And the majority of people that I've seen on other shows and on chats and that was saying, I don't want Grealish. I'm just thinking, what are you talking about?
Grealish isn't good enough for Spurs.
It's the homegrown as well, doesn't it? And we've got a homegrown issue. We've only got a squad of 22 for the Championship.
And if it's to fill a gap, a loan is perfect for it. I would have rather that. In that aspect, if it's to fill a gap, I'd rather that we got nobody there and deal with what we got instead of just getting something to fill a gap. But if you want to fill the gap, then the loan is perfect. Like you could say Paulinho might just be there to fill the gap at the moment. And the loan,
but when you're talking about filling a gap, you're creating a squad. We always talk about 11s. Create a squad. Like if you had gone and got Lookman, you can still then go and get Savio in January. Look, what I don't understand about any of this is why is Savio available in January, but we weren't able to get him in the summer?
He wouldn't put a transfer request in, would he?
But most players won't put. We've had this conversation a million times before, and the reasons why players don't put in
their contract deal, doesn't it? If they do that,
takes away all of their bonuses. Right, it takes away all of their bonuses. They lose all power over the signing. The club then loses revenue on the fee. Most players don't put in a transfer request, Lubo. Most for an obvious reason.
Well,
with the Colo or what? Go on.
If we go after Savio, they'll only go for him if he's not playing, if he's not getting game time.
Sure.
Yeah. Because he'll want to be in Ancelotti's squad, won't he, for the USA? If they get there. I see the results are pretty appalling, aren't they? Brazil's results at the moment are not great. I think they got hammered last week.
Brazil are a mess. Brazil are like fifth in the group. They're a mess at the moment. Brazil, a true mess.
You'd expect them to qualify one way or another, wouldn't you? Even if it's to a playoff,
by hook or crook,
with Australia or whoever. But if it's not Savio, then I'm reading that Spurs' priority for the next transfer window is a left wing.
I just don't understand. If that's a priority, how's that not happened in a summer, but we're going to do it in a January? Like, for me, this is where I want us to be more clever as a football club. That for me, if you've got a Lookman who's available at 40 million, get Lookman, then go and get Savio, then move on someone like a Kulusevski. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm not knocking Kulu, but what I'm saying is you evolve, right? You players go in, players come out.
Mm.
You know, I don't know why we don't do that. You know, Lookman can play right, left, centre. Savio can play on the right and the left. Kudus can play so multiple positions. So can Simmons. Build a squad. That's
I get
why
where
I'm
you're coming
so disappointed.
Maybe Frank didn't want these players. Maybe he didn't want Grealish. Maybe he didn't want Lookman.
It's too easy to get out, though. It's too easy to get
I know,
out.
but I'm just saying, again,
you're turning around,
I'm doing a Savva here, and I'm playing devil's advocate.
sure, I get it.
That
I
might
get it.
be.
But now let's use common sense. If you're turning around to Thomas Frank and going, right, we can give you either Lookman or Grealish on the left wing for the season, or you can have Johnson, Tell, or Odebert. You're not telling me a manager like Thomas Frank says, yeah, I like Tell and Odebert. You're not telling me that. The fact that he doesn't start them.
Maybe the feedback that came back from Savio was, yeah, we're going to speak to City now. Savio's up for it. Let's go and get him. Fine. Let's focus on him.
Sure, but as a football club,
it didn't happen.
It's on one player, can you? Like, you've got to. Otherwise, what happens is you get to the end of the window and the team's not complete because we spent all that time on Savio. You look at Man City. If Man City get knocked back on a player, they go and they identify a new target. Like Newcastle had to this window. Newcastle wanted what? Ekatike. Couldn't get him. Had to focus elsewhere. They wanted, who's the other one they wanted but didn't get? A few players that they wanted. Yeah, Pedro didn't get. Right. So then we're going to get Wissam. We're going to get Voldemort. Right. Like you've got to. Surely that's how, as a football club, you've got to operate. You've got to pivot from that guy's not being available. Right. What are we going to do?
Well, they lost two, hadn't they? They lost Callum Wilson as well. So
sure, but
they're in dire need of centre forward, weren't they? So
but that's not my point. The point is we lost Son and haven't replaced him at all. They lost two strikers and brought in two strikers. Like that's how. Surely that's how the cookie crumbles, right?
Well, I think I don't want that to colour the transfer window, because I think aside from that, I think it was a good window. I understand the club's viewpoint that they weren't going to buy a left-sided centre-back, left-back hybrid because they've got kids out on loan, and they just wanted a loan. If they could have picked someone up to cover for this year, they would have done. They couldn't, because they got high hopes for people like Vuskovic coming through. You know, they want to. I think Frank has said, fine, go out, let's see how he does at Hamburg. You know, if the kid's good enough, then he will do well in the Bundesliga. So I think they've got high hopes for him as well. So again, you don't want to start blocking the pathway. And Frank probably thinks he's got enough. Dragison's back in training now.
Yeah.
So he's got four centre backs within a few weeks plus Davis. So
yeah, but hang on. But this is where we need to. This is where I'm going to pull you up.
You can't do everything at once, Sav. That's the thing.
No, nonsense. Yes, you can. No. Sorry,
not at Tottenham.
Sorry. So no, but that's no. You're conflating arguments. You're doing what you always do, Lubo. You sit on the screen and you rant and you rave about we don't go the extra mile. We don't push the boat out. We're not a big club. We don't compete. Hang on. Let me finish. But then when someone suggests it, you're full of excuses for the club. Oh, you can't do everything. Who's asking to do everything? We lost a left winger. We did not replace. That's not everything. We didn't do the thing we needed. Not everything, the thing. He was Son was the only first team player that has left the football club this year. Is that true or not?
I suppose, yes, probably.
Right.
Yes.
And that's the only position other than Tell we did not go for. Like we did not get. Like that, that's mad.
Well, if Frank wants specific players, if Frank wants a specific type of player and that player isn't available, then he'll sit and wait.
Sorry. Okay. Right. So, okay. I'm going to pick. As always, I'm going to pick apart your argument and put you in a pretzel. As always. Sorry. If the player he wants isn't available, he's going to sit and wait. Sit and wait for.
He obviously thinks he's got enough there, doesn't he?
No, that's not what I asked. Listen to the question I'm asking you. Yeah. Sit and wait for.
Whoever he wants, whichever player he wants for for the next 2 or 3 years at that club.
Okay,
I'm not going to bring in anybody. He did say that, didn't he? I'm not going to bring anybody in that I don't.
Sure.
think
Okay,
is
but you're not
right.
answering my question. You're not answering. You're doing that thing again. You're not answering my question.
Maybe he wants Savio. Maybe he wants Savio. Maybe that's the one he wants.
You're not answering my question. Wait for what? Why? What? We're waiting for Savio, who wasn't available, but what they've got future information that he's available in the future.
Maybe. Who knows?
But
who
this
knows what's
is
going
my
on?
point.
Who knows what the conversations are?
Okay, so then why
know.
on the last day of the window did we approach Malik Fofana from Leon?
Well, again, that was last minute. That was a last minute panic, wasn't it?
But is that I just don't get this. You on one hand you want to act like a big club.
No,
when anyone suggests,
listen,
hang on, when anyone suggests acting like a big club, you rubbish it. I don't know what you want.
No, listen, you're not going to pick up someone like Fofana on the last day of the window, are you? The same way you're not going to pick up Mark Gailey on 3 days before the end of the
course not. But are you saying that, so for Spurs to have, I'm going to unravel your own words. Spurs are only going to go for players that Frank wants. If we went for Fofana, by your logic, Frank wanted him. So if Frank wanted Fofana, at what stage did Tottenham Hotspur go, hang on, Savio's not available, let's go and get Fofana?
Probably, well, when it was too late, wasn't it?
So this is my point. The top clubs that you say you want to emulate don't do that. The top clubs do not act like that. The top clubs go and get what they need done. Ready, done. Tottenham, the excuse is, I knew what would happen. I knew we'd do this. I knew we wouldn't get what we wanted. And to be fair to Danny sat here and told me, and I said, we will get an 11, we'll get a left-sided player and a 10. He said, I don't believe we get both. Right? He said, these are your words, Dan, right? You said, don't believe we get both, but we do need both. Right? And true to form, he was right. But true to form, what happens is we get to the end of these transfer windows and the same fans that have been crying out for these players start excusing not getting them again. We start going, oh, I don't just want anybody. Okay, so I'm asking the question. If we're sitting and waiting for Savio, how do we know Savio wasn't available for 3 months, but will be available in January for 1 month? What if you don't then get Savio? What a waste of time. So we're not actually addressing the needs of the team because of a player that is not ours. That's not how big football clubs work. They don't work like that.
No,
I think he's got...
Frank, his scouts will be looking at all different left wingers between now and the beginning of January.
But why weren't they looking all summer? We knew some was going. Why weren't we looking all summer?
Well, quite possibly he ripped up Lang's whole strategy and his whole book of players, didn't he? Tottenham are not aligned with the way I work. Sure.
So between Frank, Lang, Paratici, whoever, you're saying that in all the time they knew some was going, that they couldn't identify left wingers that could come into our club.
Maybe they didn't want to come to the club. Maybe they put feelers out for players who said no. You don't even hear about that, do you? You don't even hear about those. You're the one that said that. So how can you put your hand over your face?
It's just excuses for the
club.
Agents,
isn't it? It goes via the agent. Get hold of that one. Speak to the agent. Is he interested? No,
yeah. You're trying to throw my own theory against me. That's not what I'm talking about.
It works.
No, it doesn't work, Lubo.
It does.
Lubo, this is why the next time you go on one of your little temper tantrums about how Daniel Levy didn't back the club and we don't act like a big club, I'm gonna tell you again, because fans like you can't do everything in one window.
No,
what do you mean everything?
We work more like a big club this summer than we have for many years.
Not how.
We've got 4 very good players.
Four of the players we bought in, 2 of them were on loan. That's not acting like a big club. Is it?
Maybe they couldn't get him on loan.
Right. Okay, Lubo, let me ask you this. Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, right? Man United, how many of them loaned any of their players in this window?
But they spend much more money than we do.
Again, that's not what I asked you.
But
right, you said
a loan costs you 5 million, and a transfer like Kudus is 55 million.
I understand math. I understand math. I understand how loans work. I'm asking you, why don't those clubs go and buy those players on loan? Why did they get even Arsenal's one loan, right, is an obligation. So even Arsenal's one loan is actually worth about 55 million, right? So why didn't Arsenal, Liverpool, why don't those clubs do that?
They spend much more money than us because
they went and got what they needed, Lubo. They went and got what they needed. Spurs, what we've done is we've kicked the can down the road with Moani and with Paulinho. We kicked the can down the road and fans have gone, what a brilliant window. I think it's a good window.
Very good.
I think it's good, but we've left ourselves short. You're now going to be in a position where next summer, and again, fans don't want to have this conversation. They don't want to think about it. You're now in this position next summer where if we want Moani or Paulinho, you've now got to start the negotiation game, and now you've got to do all that again next summer. So we've brought in 2 first-team players in a transfer window, and everyone's lost their mind.
Lost their mind. It's a solid transfer window.
It's okay. I think it's decent.
Yeah.
It's the first time in our history we've brought in 4 players that walk straight into our first team.
2. We've brought in 2 that walk straight into our first team. 2 of them are loans.
But regardless, they're still
they
a
didn't
Tottenham and they're
even
still in
wanna
our team. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but it's semantics. I still feel like we've brought in 4 players that walk straight into our team, regardless of them being loans or not. I don't feel like it really matters. At the end of the day,
but it massively matters for it. But Benji, but this is the thing. Again, as fans, we don't think about these things, but what about the future and squad building and planning, right? If next season Paulinho and Moani aren't signed, we've got to do this whole dance again next summer because we didn't get it right this window. I'm not knocking the signings, Benji. I'm not knocking the signings. The 4 players, very good that came in. The 4 players, very good. But we're a Champions League football team with lots of money. And we've gone and spent about 125 million in a summer. And every fan's had the wool pulled over their eyes that it's some brilliant window that we've never had before when we didn't even replace the one outgoing player. The one outgoing player from last season's squad.
Life's not perfect. You don't get everything you want. I'm sorry. You're living in this dream world that we can just go out and pluck and get everybody we want in one window. It doesn't happen that way.
Sorry.
Liverpool wanted Gahey. They didn't get him. They're short at the back. They've only got 3 centre-backs.
Short at the back, according to you. According to you, they're short at the back. They've got 4 international centre-halves. But according to you and Johnny, they're short at the back. They've got 4 international centre-backs and Endo who can cover this. So they've got 5 that can play at centre-half.
You're shoehorning Endo and you've got an 18-year-old.
I'm not shoehorning Endo. Has played... Again, Lubo, you don't watch other leagues, do you?
He's not a proper centre-back. So
do you watch other leagues? You don't. You don't. Sure. Endo has played centre-half quite a lot in his career. So he can play centre-half. He played there last year for Liverpool. So they've got 4 international centre-halves. Yes or no?
Oh, I don't call Endo I don't think...
That's not why I asked.
Scott calls Endo he wouldn't put him in his squad as a defender. I'm sorry. I disagree. So
did Endo play at centre-half for Liverpool last season?
He played a few games.
So he can play there?
He filled in. The way Gray filled in at right back, he filled in.
He filled in. So if they get loads and loads of centre-half injuries, he will fill in again, right? But when you're using the Liverpool example, right? You're going to use the Liverpool example. You're going to use the team that just spent £450 million in a transfer window.
No. Don't twist it. The point I'm making is that even Liverpool didn't get everybody they wanted. It happens. It happens.
What are you doing here?
You can't get every player you want.
So, Lubo, again, let me bring this back to a place of common sense.
Sorry, you cannot get... It was an okay window.
Let me bring this back to a place of common sense. What Liverpool did... Four
windows. It's going to take Frank 4 windows to get where he wants, to get the team and the squad where he wants.
Lubo, I'm
You can't
sorry.
just walk in and within 3 months you've got everything you want. It doesn't
No,
happen.
listen. So listen to what I'm saying. Who said everything? We're talking about you should go into the season with your 11 sorted. Yes, you should. Now, what Liverpool have done, this is where you fail to comprehend. What Liverpool have done is Liverpool have more than sorted out their first 11, right? So other players from the first 11 drop down into the squad, right? Like Soboslai. Soboslai has been overtaken by Florian Wirtz. Soboslai drops down into being a squad player, right? So what Liverpool failed to do was get a backup centre-half. Spurs failed to address the first 11. There's a huge difference, Lubo, between addressing a backup area and the actual first 11 position on the pitch. Son was the only first-team player that left Tottenham Hotspur in an entire summer. The only one.
So
And that
we failed on one position.
Hang on.
You're building that up, and that's
Hang
taken over your whole focus.
Hang on. But that's the one position we didn't fill. That's bad planning. That's bad. You can't lose your best one. Son has been arguably our second best footballer. Some will say our best for the last decade. Son was, everyone knew Spurs have got a left-sided player. It's Son. Whether you want to call him a winger or a forward, it doesn't matter what the position is. Son starts on Spurs' left. We knew that Son was going, and we did not replace him. That is not the same as
It's
Liverpool.
one position. So I'm not losing my head because they didn't.
No,
they didn't replace
Nick,
Son.
but
We needed a six.
Lubo,
We got a six. We got Kudus in. We got a better replacement for Maddison. We got a really good striker who can play across the back, across the front. Kolo Muani can play on the left.
but doesn't really.
He can.
Yeah, but
He
doesn't really. If you look at his, but again, this is copium, Lubo. This is the
He
point.
didn't want. Listen,
I never want to hear waffle out of your mouth again about acting like a big club. You've got no. Spurs are a big club. Spurs are a big club.
You can have a pot all you
I
like.
want Levy to act like a big club. You don't even want to act like a big club.
They spoke to Atalanta about a loan for Lookman, and Atalanta wanted a sale, and they weren't prepared to do it. So that was Frank's choice. He could have had Lookman. He's chosen not to.
Sorry, that was Frank's choice. How do you know that was Frank's choice?
Reported. That was reported. They asked. They wanted a loan for Lookman, and Atalanta said no. They didn't buy him.
What's that? Why is that Frank's choice? I'm trying to make that make sense in my head.
Well, maybe Frank wants his Savino or another left winger, and he's prepared to wait.
Lubo, do you feel like they put all the eggs in the basket of Savino? Is that what you're thinking?
For a better player. I don't know what's in Frank's head. I don't know what players he's specifically
So it's excuses. Other clubs don't do this. This is my point. This is what I started with.
The guy's only been in 2 months, for Christ's sake. I mean, it's mental. This is mental, sir. You think he should come in and fit every single? You think he should put everything right?
Sorry, I haven't mentioned Frank. You keep mentioning Frank, not me, mate. I haven't mentioned Thomas Frank.
Frank has said quite clearly, I only want players in here, A, that want to play for the club, and A, that are right for the club long term. He came out and he said that. We all saw the the quotes.
No one said that's not true. My point is,
he didn't want Lookman. Obviously, he didn't want him that badly.
But you don't know that. Or Spurs wouldn't pay for him.
Why didn't they buy him? They've got the money there to buy him. Why didn't they buy him?
So there's no left. So Savio is the only left-sided player that Thomas Frank would accept.
What? In August? I don't know. How many were available in August?
What do you mean? How many are available in a summer transfer window?
But we don't know. We don't know who Lange put in front of him, and we don't know who Frank has turned around and said no, I don't want, and we don't know how many players Spurs have gone to their agents and they've said no. So it's all supposition. All of it's
just all excuse because the other clubs don't have this problem. It's all excuse. Okay. That's all it is.
Okay. Well,
Spurs did not replace. Spurs needed a new left winger, right? We did not get it. That's poor. Whichever way you want to dress it up with your excuses, that's poor.
That's fine. They should have bought one, but I'm not letting it cloud the whole position for me over the transfer window. They missed out on one. They missed out on one, and they got 4. They got 4 out of 5. So for me, that's not a bad win.
Hang on, it's not 4 out of 5, is it? Because they didn't get a centre half, which we all know he wanted as well.
This season. It is for this season. Who you can't worry about next season. You've got to worry about this season.
I am worried about this season. I'm talking about this season. You're the one who wants to worry about next season by going, don't worry, we'll get them in January.
Maybe they will. Maybe they will. But you can't have everything immediately. That's not how life works. I know all the kids today want everything now. It's not how life works, though.
Sorry.
Sometimes you can't get everything you want.
The kids today want everything now.
Everything is instant. It's all instant. Everything is instant. Everything is instant today. It's all changed. Everything is instant.
You know what? Stop waffling.
You know that.
Everything is instant. So
that's right.
Premier League, Champions League football team.
When you're spending tens of millions of pounds,
let me finish my sentence. Let me fucking finish my sentence. Right? Premier League football club with Champions League status needs left winger. But fans want everything now. Or maybe it's Premier League football club needs to do the professional thing and buy what they need. This is nothing to do with fans wanting everything now. I'll ask you this question. If Arsenal lose Bukayo Saka next summer, let's say Bukayo Saka go, I don't know, Barcelona, Real Madrid, wherever. Do Arsenal replace Bukayo Saka? Right? Yes, they do. And you know what? If they don't, do their fans sit there going, oh, well, you can't have everything you want in one window? No, their fans lose their mind. You know why? Because they don't have the loser mentality that you've got. They don't have this loser's mentality. Oh, life's not fair. It's not talking about life. It's a fucking professional football club.
You can't
it's
get
a professional football club.
Hasn't got everything sorted in one window.
I'm not talking about Frank. Stop saying Frank. I'm not talking about Thomas Frank.
So who do you want to say? Levy, Vinay, Lang? Who do you want to say? Paritici? Frank's the manager. Whatever.
Frank doesn't.
He's in charge of the first team, Sav. His remit is the first team. That is his remit.
Do you know how a football club works? If you think Frank's in charge of the signings, you're off your head. You think he's in charge of the signings.
So you think Frank has no say in who comes in?
Not what I said. Listen to the words coming out of my mouth.
Fair enough. Okay.
Listen to the words coming out of my mouth.
You obviously didn't hear what he said.
I heard everything he said.
The way I work for transfers.
Do you know what you fail to do? You know what you fail to do here? You fail to put the two arguments into different categories. Frank saying I only want players that want a beer that I want is very different to Spurs not going out and getting him what he wanted. They're two different subjects.
So what do you want? They didn't get a left winger. So why we keep bringing this up and up and up? They didn't get him. He's now. We should be talking about what we can do on the left wing, not what we didn't do.
Sure, but that wasn't the conversation. Yeah? Otherwise, there'd be no debates.
That's
like me saying to you. So let's use. So coming from the guy that says 25 years, we should be saying what we do now, not what we've done for the last 25 years. You don't apply your own logic.
25 years is done, finished. You can't turn the clock back. What you can do is you can work today and going forward. What they did, they brought in 4 players. One was a replacement for Maddison.
We've just had the transfer window, which is the time to. The transfer window is the time you do these things, right? This is the time you do those things. No other club allows a player like Son to leave and does not replace them. That is criminal. Whichever way you want to make excuses, whichever way you want to say that I'm young and expect everything now, this is a professional football club, right? This is professional. Arsenal lost Thomas Partey and Jorginho. What did they do? Zubimendi, Norgard. That's a professional football club. 2 went out, 2 came in. Tottenham lose one of our best players for a decade. Don't replace him and fans go, that's all right. Can't do everything in one window.
What do you expect with Levy? What do you expect? There's no succession plan at Tottenham. There's never been.
Are we back to Levy? Are we back to Levy? Because you told us Vinay was in charge.
You told us Vinay was in charge. Hang on. Kane's gone. Son's gone. There's been no succession plan at all. Right the way through the club. What do you expect when you got Munn there? You got Lang there the last 2 years. There's no succession plan. Finished. So don't be surprised Son wasn't replaced. But I would rather try and look at the positives as well in the transfer window and look at the players we've got, whether they're on
You
loan
said that's
or
positive,
not.
but that was a negative. That's a black mark against your window, is that you have not gone into the season prepared.
Which is why I've given it a 6 or a 7 out of 10 and not a 10 out of 10.
Sure. So did I. But the difference is, right? The difference is, Lubo, is you, on the one hand, you want to sit there and all these shows, we've got to be a big club, we've got
That's
to do
right.
this,
Right.
and then when I suggest we do that, you're the first one that makes excuses for it all.
No, I didn't say that. What I said
Yes, you
was
did.
we didn't get a left winger.
Fellas, can I interject and just throw a question out here? Because I feel like this is leading on to the question I want to ask. Who do you two feel the responsibility lies with for the shortcomings of the signings this January? This summer. Just out of curiosity, who do you feel like the responsibility falls on?
Lang, Paratici,
right?
Vinay, Levy, all of them. They're a transfer committee. Right? Thomas Frank can tell you all day long. This is where Lubo and I are very different here. Where he goes, you don't think Frank has a say? Of course he has a say, but Frank can give the names. He doesn't go and make the phone calls. Frank doesn't go and speak to the agents. Frank doesn't get them in the room and have the chat. Frank will be the one that comes in right at the very end and goes, right, let me sell you the project, like with Xavi Simons. So between that committee of, I don't know if there's any other names you could chuck in there. You've got Lang, Paratici, Vinay, Levy, whoever was involved this summer, have not done what they needed to do. They did not replace one of our better players. That is criminal for me. That is poor from Tottenham Hotspur. None of the other big boys have done that. Lubo can shoehorn Mark Guay in when Liverpool have got centre halves. That's fine, but we don't have left wingers. We don't have a top left winger. Left ourselves short. Champions League. If we miss out by a few points, you say that's the goals and assists you might get from a left winger. So I don't know.
Because we didn't get the left winger. Sorry, go on.
Well, I was going to say, Lubo, do you concur, or do you feel like the responsibility falls on more specific targets, such as your Levies?
I think the transfer policy, I think the whole strategy, I think the whole planning of and recruitment ID this summer has been really haphazard. I think Frank has come in the summer. I think he's walked into a situation where Lang is doing his data analysis and recruitment ID. It's plainly clear what Frank thinks of it. He said it very, very politely. And I think they've had to, halfway through, they probably had to rip it all up and start re-looking at other targets. Next time.
Right. So do you feel,
Benji, for the next window, I think Frank will have everybody knowing exactly what he wants, how he wants players analysed, how he wants them scouted, and what he wants his recruitment team to be looking for. So I think this was a bit of a strange window. You know, all the other managers that we're talking about, they were all at their clubs last year. They all had plenty of time to tell their recruitment team, this is who I'm looking for. Go out and find. You know, Maresca, this is his second year. Slots his second year.
So our recruitment team is that bad that in a whole summer they can't find top left wingers that would come to Tottenham Hotspur? Is that what we're saying?
Sam, maybe they didn't want to come to us. Who knows? We don't know. Unless you've got the recruitment team.
Palace signed a really good winger in Pino. How are they doing it? Like, well, this is just.
I don't rate Lang as head of recruitment. I think he should go.
Paratici's there as well.
Well, he is and he isn't.
He has been there this summer. They said that.
He's been floating on the periphery. He's not. Lang has been running it as far as the recruitment ID is concerned.
Too many excuses for me. Too many excuses, as always.
From a business point of view, yeah, because football is basically business now. For me, I think the business side is even bigger than the sports side, unfortunately. Just an opinion. As a business, we didn't get the job done. We didn't get it done. Lubo might be right on a few things he's saying, but at the end of the day, we didn't get the job done when there was options out there on getting it done. So I do get quite a few things what Lubo's saying, and I think some of them are actually fair points, but they're opinions as well. We don't know what happened. The fact is, we didn't get the job done. The business side didn't do the business properly. So a few things you said, Ian, I could actually agree with them and see that, yeah, that could have been this, that could have been that. But with what Savva's saying, the fact is, at the end of the day, we didn't get the job done.
They did replace Son. They haven't replaced Son at all, have they?
So the fact is, we didn't get the job done. And unless we're going to use...
This is our mentality. Dan, this is the fans' mentality. See, we talk about being a big club. Look, we just fill the gaps in at a later date.
Well,
why?
we haven't got a choice now, have we?
No, now we haven't. But I, as a fan, won't sit there and have this pathetic, I'll say it to people's faces. This is pathetic. This, it was really good. Well, did we do what we did? No, but we can do it again next year. Because, Dan, you and I know what happens in January. In January, Dan, the excuses will start coming out. Really tough to do business in January. After we were told in the summer, wait till January. Then we go to next summer and there'll be another excuse after excuse after excuse.
See, with this transfer window, with this transfer, I agree with everything you just said, by the way, there. But with this transfer window coming up in January, the problem is there's that word could. It could actually be a very interesting transfer window in January, because if there's certain players that aren't going to be playing enough games, where it's got the World Cup coming up, it might be easier to pull in a couple of players. But the problem is, that's all ifs, coulds, buts, and maybes. January is the hardest time to sign someone. It's not impossible, but this one might be the easier January to do it, depending on what we're looking at. But it's all ifs, buts, and maybes if it goes in our favour, basically. And yeah, all right, Simmons, we can play him on the left. I just checked up. He played on the left one more game than he played in the centre, and just as much goal assist. But then who do we put as the 10? With the players we've got there, I'll still say the better formation we use is 5 at the back. That's where we can actually, but we don't want to play that against teams that we should be pressing on full attack, basically, where we can go at them, basically. And that was one thing I like about Frank, is the fact that he will change his formations when he needs to. Well, apart from the last game, but we shouldn't actually be in the position we're in now. Yeah, I think Ben said it perfect at the start. By Spurs standards, we had a good window. The 2 loans are there to fill the place in. But we all know if Mawani has a quality season, which is a player I'm happy we got him, but I don't think he's nothing special either. But if he has a great season, if we haven't got that deal that we can buy him, he's not going to come back to us. He's going to go to a bigger club that's going to pick him, most probably, more than likely. So then we've got to look at a striker then. Is Paulinho going to last the season? We will see. I hope he does. I think he's a very good player, but he was definitely... I still don't think he's quite match fit, and he definitely had a very injury-prone season last season. So that's another position we have to fill in then. But we have filled that gap for the minute. The fact is, the other way I'm seeing this, the fact that we filled them 2 gaps with 2 loan players, surely we could have had enough money to go out and get that left winger there. Or if the intention is using Simmons on the left, get that number 10 there.
Dan,
I still think there was enough to get that done.
We're one short. Dan, we're one short.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think we're one short. I think we're way more than one short. I think we're way more than one short.
Up front.
He's talking for the first 11, basically. Yeah, for the squad, we're very short. But for the first 11, we're basically one short.
Dan, this is my point. And again, this is why, I know on YouTube you can't say anything without people misconstruing it. Was it a good window? Yeah, it was good. It was good. Did we do enough? Nowhere near. Nowhere near enough. Everyone's going on about the 4 players. Please, people have got to bear in mind, Son left and Maddison is out for the season, right? So 2 of the players we brought in have been to replace, if you want to say kudos for Son and Maddison Simons. And then 2 loan signings. Like, if you actually think about it like that, we've replaced 2 players and brought in 2 loans. This is, people are losing their mind because we brought in 4 players that were going to the first team. For me, this should have been the window where you go, right, you've got Champions League. This should be the window where you go and chuck 200, 250 million. This should be the window where you turn around and go, all right, you've loaned Paulinho. So for me, Dan, what you've done there is you kick the can down the road, right? You said, you know what? We've loaned Paulinho. We can worry about spending 50, 60 million on a DM next summer. Cool. Brilliant. Right. You've loaned Muani. All right. We can worry about a striker next summer. Great. So with the money you've saved, where's the signings? Like with the money you've saved, where's the signings? Essentially, what we did was bought 2 players for the first 11 for our future. 2.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, you can add the loan players in there, but that should have been to free up funds to buy other areas. All of this, we couldn't buy him. We changed manager. We changed manager at the beginning of the summer. You've got a whole summer to find footballers. Players were moving left, right, and bloody centre. You're not going to tell me that we didn't in a summer. That it's just excuse. I'll say it, Lou. It's just excuses. We couldn't do this. We couldn't do that. Malik Fofana's been there all window. Malik Fofana, really good left winger. Clearly on our books because we made an approach on the last day of the window. Been there all summer. Right? Lookman, been there all summer. Now, the answer is going to be for every player we don't get. Maybe Frank didn't want him. Frank's not a silly man. Frank would know what's good for Spurs and what's not. But all of these people now, it's just too much. Don't worry, we'll get Savio further down the line. No club talks like that.
I think the other thing you can...
our fans have got no big picture. I'll call it out. It'll get me hate.
The thing you can look at...
No big picture.
The thing you can look at is if you would have told me we get 4 players that walk into that first team significantly in this window, I'd have been a happy person. Why? Because I'm just used to what Spurs actually go and do. So I'd be happy with it as such, but it shouldn't have to be like that. The fact that 2 of the players were loaned, though, is now where I've got the attitude where I have to agree with Savary of like, right, we got 2 of them on loan. Where's our left winger? Or where's our number 10, basically, for whatever we're going to use Simmons for, one or the other? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. We could have used Simmons on the left because he played on the left more and got ourselves a 10. Or Simmons, more likely to be the number 10, and got ourselves an 11. Got ourselves a winger. We actually had an option of what we could do, whether we could go for another 10 or 11. It gave us more option by getting Simmons because he's just as capable on either side. And so that still gave us the option of going for a left winger or a number 10. The fact that we got the other 2 on loan, I'm happy with that. I think Paulinho, getting him on loan was a very, very smart move. I think that was actually smarter than buying him. Whereas if you'd have said that to me at the start, Dan, I would have said buying. No, I know you don't. We spoke about this. But at the start, I would have said
if you do that smart business, you've still got a chunk of...
That is what I'm saying.
70 million for Savva. There was 70 million apparently for Zabanyi. There was all this money for Akalouche. All these... Cool. So then at the end of the window, you get to the end of it, and I'm thinking everyone's so mesmerised by 4 players, but they're not looking at Maddison went out. We didn't add 4 on top of the squad, Dan. That's my point. So when everyone's going
with you, I get your point.
No, I know you are. But when people are going, 4 new players, some went. Maddison's out for a year. So 4 new players, we've actually added 2. If you think about it, we've added 2.
If we would have bought all 4, I think you'd have looked on it on a more acceptable way as such. Still didn't get the job done properly, but that's 4 solid players in there. The fact is, I'm agreeing with what you're saying here. Yes. I would have been happy if we'd have bought all 4 of these. I would have accepted that, okay, we can't get it all done in one window. My side of it is, where I'm agreeing with you, definitely, is the fact that 2 of them was on loan. Why couldn't we get that other number? Why couldn't we get our number 10 or get our left winger, depending what you want Simmons to do, basically? That is the point of it. Whereas if we'd have bought all 4 players, I think most of us could sit back and say, all right, we needed that 10 or 11, but I can let that go till January because we just spent excess of 150 to 180 million on 4 players that are now at this squad. Even though I think Paulinho, getting him on loan was the smarter move to do. I would have said buy him at first, but then after getting him on loan, thinking about it, thinking last season, I think getting him on loan was a very intelligent move.
Agreed.
But again, if we'd have got all 4 of them bought, you could accept more that we didn't get that left winger. Let's just say left wing.
Dan,
but the fact that 2 of them was on loan, surely we had more than 50, 60 million to go and get someone in there who works there.
In 92 days, we made 2 first-team signings.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
In 92 days. And that's the excuse that's being afforded for them. That 92 days. I'm not counting Takai. In 92 days, we made 2 first-team signings, right? Takai's not going to start, is he? Takai's going to be like 5th, 6th choice centre-half, right? 2 permanent signings. You think Mawani was alone on the very last out of window with about 5 hours of the transfer window to go. So when people, I know like people can stack it up and say, great window, 4 first-team signings. For me, we were coming off the back of having a small squad last year, going into the Champions League, build the squad out. And we haven't. And we're making excuses again. And we will in January. And we will next summer. Lubo will be out here next summer making excuses for the next window as well. I know the game.
January.
If you look at, hang on a second. If you go to Jordan Baker on 1309, I think he's just made a bloody solid point there as well.
Oh, mate, there's money there.
I think that's an excellent point. We saved basically 15 million. There was money there to go and get someone like Lookman, but a lot of people are saying that Lookman don't think he'll be good enough. If you look how he's played in Italy and how he's played in Europe over the past couple of seasons, been a very good player and significantly better than what we got there. And then if we wanted to replace him next season, we've got an option of a player there who can also play in that left and fight for that position as well. Whatever he would have been, not. For me, getting Lookman wouldn't have been a gap filler, basically. He would have been more than good enough to play this season and also be part of a squad if we went and got Savinho next season or someone bigger than him on the left or whatever way we'd want to move it about. The fact is, I think Jordan's making an excellent point here. We saved 15 million. How much money did we save? Right, so let's say we'd have paid 30 million for Paulinho. So, right, there's 45 million. How much would we have paid for Moane? 40?
50,
so
maybe, yeah.
So let's just say altogether we saved 85 million for the random number. Where's my left winger? Or where's my number 10? Whatever way you want to put it. And I think a lot of people, Savva, have looked at this from the aspect of which I don't think it makes anyone less clueless of it or whatever you want to say. They're looking that we got 4 players there. But when you actually dig that little bit deeper, we got 2 players and we got 2 cover. And I just think a few people are not putting them 2 side to side. So we basically saved ourselves 85 million. Where's my number 10 to put Simmons on the left? Or where's my left winger to put Simmons in the middle so we've got a solid 11? So I'm with you on what you're saying on this one. But I do get a few points that Ian's made.
I get the points he's made, Dan. I get the points. I get some of the points Lubo's making. But the point is, if we're gonna sit and moan and cry all year about wanting to act like a big club and that, when we get to a transfer window, that's when you act like the big club. So for me, what I won't do is get to the end of the transfer window and then suddenly change my stance on everything can't be done in one window.
Plus 20 million in for Son as well, like JB's just said there, so you can put up to 100 million.
Why were Arsenal, right? Why were Arsenal, whose new director of football only joined this year, right? The new director of football has hardly been at the club for any amount of time. They've gone out and got what? What did they need? They've gone and got 2 defenders for depth, right? 2, right? Hincapi and what's his name? Mosquera. Was it Mosquera from Valencia? I think I might have got right. Hincapi and Mosquera. They went and got 2 midfielders to replace the 2 midfielders that left. They went and bought another playmaker to rival Odegaard. They went and got another winger to add squad depth. Right, without losing any of their wingers. If I'm not wrong, I don't think they lost any of their wingers. Martinelli's still there, Trossard's still there, Saka's still there. Right, they've gone and got Eze on top of that. They've gone and got Madueke on top of that. They didn't lose a striker, but went and added Gyökeres. What? Why? Because Arsenal are a club of going right. We're in the Champions League. We need to build. We need to grow a squad. Spurs.
We mean business.
We lost 2. Bought 2 in and then added 2 loans. And we're all going, oh, what a win.
It's the fact that 2 of them are loans. And like other people have said on here, we also got, what was it, 15 million in for Son or 20 million, whatever it was.
20 million for Son, 8 for Hill.
Yeah, we even managed to get money for Hill. I must admit, if Levy pulled that one off, I'll give him a Blue Peter badge for that one because we couldn't even give the fella away at one point. So fair play, mate, on that one. But it's the fact that the injuries have done us, but the fact that 2 of them was loan, we did have some income coming there, and 2 of the we've bought, surely there was enough there to go and get that left wing or a number 10 that we needed
Dan,
to make it a solid 11.
Dan, there was plenty of money there. There was another.
So why didn't we do it? So why didn't we?
So what are you arguing against then? What are you arguing against then?
You've got to ask, Sav, you're talking about Arsenal. Under these owners, we've never had the sort of transfer window that Arsenal just had. Never, ever in 25 years. I don't know why you would expect something like this.
You're not allowed to talk about the last 25 years. You've got to talk about moving forward.
But the owners are still there. There's still the same ownership. They're not going to spend the money. They're not going to spend the money.
I'm not the one defending them. You are. You're the one defending them, not me, mate.
Look, I'm going to tell you something. I'm just thankful we've got 4 new established players that are going to be playing for our team this year.
Sure, but we lost 2, right?
Well, one of them will be back. Well, sorry, one's gone. Madison probably for the season, but we've got Kulu coming
Madison's
back.
done.
And we got,
Kulu's not back to what, February?
Yeah, and then look how long it's going to take him to start playing again because he hasn't played for so long. So what you can say with Kulu is even if we do get him back in 4 months or whatever, I think you can add another 2 or 3 months on with that before you get him back into motion again, basically.
Dan, in the meantime, while people like Lubo and Phil Coy's in the chat are making excuses, we're bringing on...
They're facts.
They're excuses. We're bringing on the likes of Tell. We're bringing on the likes of Gray. We're bringing on the likes of Brennan Johnson. These are the players we're bringing on because fans want to make excuses as to why we didn't fill out the squad. So it's not about me looking at just Arsenal. Liverpool did the same this window. Chelsea did the same, right? City did the same. These clubs lose players, they replace them. They build and they add to their squad. Spurs don't.
We need new owners. We know this.
Can I go old school for a minute? So, look, this is the way I see it. And I hate to sound like a broken record. For me, this falls solely on someone like Daniel Levy. And the reason why I say that is this. There are 2 main issues. 1, we seem to have an issue in the scouting department, identifying players. And 2, would be pulling the triggers on said players. Now, a remit for a scout would be to identify players that would be willing to come to Tottenham Hotspurs. The reason why I think it's Daniel Levy's fault is because he is in charge of hiring said people. So I think moving forward, now that Daniel Levy's gone, I feel like the possibility of seeing big changes in the future has risen significantly. At least I'd like to think so.
Hope so is the better word.
Benji,
perhaps.
But Benji, we were told that Levy had nothing to do with this window and nothing changed in this window.
I don't know if I believe that, though, Sav. Do you honestly believe he had nothing to do with his window? Because
I was told, Lubo assured us all it's nothing to do with Levy this window.
Absolute bollocks. I'm sorry, Lubo, but I think he had his fingers on every single pulse of every single deal.
He was involved in the Eze thing, but the other ones, Vinay was totally front, back, and centre with Simmons and with.
Isn't it convenient how the one that screws up Levy was involved in, but the others that went white, he had nothing to do with it? I'm sorry, man.
It's just so
you got to admit how that looks. You might even be white, Ian, but you just got to look how that looks. Oh no, Ezzy screwed up. No, that's not the Levy.
Dan, do you know what this is like? Dan, you must have had this, right? You know when you've got that, growing up, you've always got that one mate who you never saw pull on a night out, right? But then the one night that no one else was out with him, he pulled a bird, right? You know what I mean? Like, I pulled last night. Oh, what? When we weren't out to see it? Yeah. Like, that's what this is like. That's what this is like.
So, did the press not report that Levy was in talks with Parish?
Yes.
I need to ask a question. They did. But can I not ask you this, right? So, are we saying that Levy was in talks with Parish, but with the Xavi Simons deal, for example, Daniel Levy was nowhere near it?
Can we accept that there was probably a power battle going on at Spurs this summer? Would you not think?
So maybe the Eze one wasn't fully down to Levy then.
No, do you know what? I don't think you can say that, Lubo, because the way Tottenham Hotspurs is run is incredibly archaic. A lot of our power within the club is in a very select a few people, and you don't usually get that through modern run clubs. It's usually a group of individuals where it's spread evenly. Whereas Daniel Levy was the headmaster of everything. So no, I don't think there was a power struggle, mate. I really don't. I think Levy was and always will be, or until he was gone, the main man. I think everything goes through him.
I don't think he was the actual out and out main man, because I mean, again, this is all I think's and opinions and that, yeah?
Yeah, sure.
I think this thing has been set up for at least 6 months to a year, that something's been working up towards it, yeah? Because the other fella, what's his name?
Charrington.
Charrington. He wouldn't have just been standing there twiddling his thumbs, basically. Not for what he was there to do, basically, yeah? So I think there was more depth to this than expected. I find it weird where Levy went. I would have thought get rid of him at the start of everything, but it is what it is. What's going to be interesting is in the next 3 months, we're just going to basically sit back and watch what Ange does and then judge him game by game as such, and then get a better idea of how he's got the squad working. When it comes to January and when it comes to the start of next season, Frank, sorry. Yeah. When it comes to the start of next season, this is where I think we're going to see in January and the start of next season how much of a real problem Levy was or how much of a real problem Levy wasn't.
Yeah, you're seeing January and the summer.
Or how much ENIC have changed their MO.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I think has happened there, seeing as we're talking about that one, is I think basically the football has outgrown Levy. I think Levy ended up out of his depth because he was having to deal with multi-billionaires, not millionaires. That's like me going to one of my poker things with a couple of grand in my pocket and playing someone with $1 million in their pocket, because £1 million is tuppence money to someone who's a multi-billionaire, yeah? Levy ain't used to doing that, sort of having to push with those people as such. So I just think football outgrew him, totally out of his depth on the business side as well and everything. And it was time to go. I think Spurs and Levy have brought ourselves as high as we possibly can on the business side of things. The only way we're going to get more money on the business side is with a hotel and maybe getting 50, 60 things happening at the ground instead of 30 over a year. The way to now get Spurs bigger and worth more money is to now concentrate on the football side. And that's where ENIC might have actually realised that, like, right, we have brought ourselves as big as we can here, and Levy was the perfect man for that. I don't think anyone else could have pulled off what he did on that business side. But now that we need someone on the football side, more up to date, more in with the football, knows how the football works, get us up there regular in Champions League, and then start looking at winning things. You now need Levy out and someone who's got more of a football brain, because everything there, Levy has put it on a bloody plate.
And the question is, Dan, who is that man? Who is that man, though, Dan? Because I don't think it's that Charrington fella. He's a glorified banker.
Vinay, that's Vinay's job now,
that's
right?
Vinay. I would have said that's more
job
Vinay.
Is, I mean, everyone needs to realise that Charrington's non-exec, so he's not hands-on. So he'll be at all the board meetings. He'll probably have the final say on everything, but he won't be at the training ground every day. He won't be at the club every day. He won't be hands-on. Vinay, that's his job now, right? So Vinay, if I'm not wrong, Vinay's signing those checks. Vinay will have the budget. So. Vinay will sign those checks. Vinay will be the one that if deals need to get over the line, Vinay's going to be called, right? You're guessing it will be Lang / Paratici doing everything until it comes to signing that dotted line, and it'll be Vinay because he's the CEO.
If we even get Paratici, because he was what Levy wanted.
Sure. Yeah, or whatever director of football, they'll bring it. Let's say it's Paratici for the sake of this argument. Paratici's the one that's going to bring it to the table, right? He's the one that's going to be making contact with the scouts, with the agents. He's the one that's going to be making contact, speaking to the agents, speaking to the players, blah, blah, blah. Let's be fair. Someone like Vinay, even if we go back to the days of Levy, those people get involved at the end if it's really difficult, right? Other clubs, you don't hear about that. Other clubs, do you know what I mean? Like if you look at Man City, when did Man City's owners get involved in a signing? Man City had what? Biggie, I can never get his name, Tickenstein, whoever it was. Excuse me. They had I can never get his name right. He would have done all that.
Correct.
He would have done all that, and it will only be if they can't really get a deal over the line, or if they really need to sign off for extra money. They'll go, "Hey, shake hands." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
now, then I will go to the Lewis family and say, well, you know, you
Yes.
sign your check.
Okay, but where do you think Levy went then? This is where we're going to see, and this is what I'm interested
Oh.
in. Yeah,
Oh,
this is
Danny.
what I'm interested in. Yeah, who was the real problem here? Yeah. Now, I wanted Levy out because I want the sports side, but I look on both sides of this, and I will give him credit as well. So
Shocking.
did Levy screw up the stuff he screwed up? I believe he did, but he wasn't the one who had the money at the end of the table. Are you telling me Levy never went to Lewis and said, look, I can nearly get this job done, just give me another 10, 15 mil? I don't believe that. I believe he did. And then with who we got now, if he goes to Lewis and says, can I have 10, 15 mil? Are they going to give it to him? Are they going to do what I said and concentrate on the football side now? It's all ifs, buts and maybes. It's just the way I see it. But I don't believe Levy never went there and asked for more money. He had to deal with the money he was given at the end of the day and make the most of it. And I don't agree with the way he done a lot of it. But on the other side, he got things right on it as well. And because at the end of it, he wasn't the one who said, do you know what? There's 100 million out my back pocket. Have it. I'll do this one. Because he ain't got it. What he's got is shares. The one who was at the very top, and people like to look on this as a pyramid sort of thing, like I do as well, the one at the top. Well, the one at the top wasn't actually Levy. The one who had the money to spend, okay, that was Levy, but that weren't his money. He ain't the one with 4, 5, 6, 7 billion in his back pocket. And he got slammed for absolutely everything. Have you ever thought that maybe he just didn't get given that bloody money? I don't know. It's ifs, buts, and maybes. But now we're going to see in the next 3 months and the next 12 months, depending if someone comes in and gives money, whatever else, if someone comes in and buys, let's say 20% of Spurs, and then there's 300 million on the table or 200 million on the table, Lewis ain't going to give a monkeys because it ain't out of his back pocket. There you go. Spunk it,
Dan,
do what you want with it.
Dan, this is why Lubo and I have been having a row on WhatsApp for about 2 weeks, or whenever it was, a week since Levy left. Where when Lubo, I love Lubo so much. You're the best person to stream. When Lubo's going, we've got our Tottenham back. Do you know what my answer's been, Dan? What does that mean? Like my answer is we're all celebrating it, but what does that mean? Because I need to see before I get excited. I said, like, I've been called a flip-flop so much in the last few weeks, right? I've always said Daniel Levy needs to leave. I've always said I won't celebrate him leaving until I know what changes. Do you know what I mean? Like, if Enoch don't change, to Dan's point there, if Enoch don't change now, and this is now just Vinay is now just a newer version of Levy, and we're frustrated in transfer windows, and now we're going to blame Vinay. What am I celebrating Levy leaving for? Now, did he need to leave? This is where people won't listen to me, Dan. Yes, he needed to leave. Yes, he run his course. What I need to see in the next, not one window. I don't want to see, one window in January. What I need to see, January, summer. I need to see every one of those windows that we act differently, that we are prepared to pay the big money, that we are prepared to break the wage barrier, that we get deals done quickly, that we don't spend 2 weeks haggling over 3 million, 2 million, 1 million. If I see all of that, I'll turn around and go, brilliant. But when people say we've got our Spurs back because Levy's left, it's the same owners.
Basically, the other thing is with Levy is no one wanted to do business with him anymore. No one liked him in the aspect. No one wanted to do business, even if he was willing to put money on the diet, whatever. People would have just told him, "I'm not even talking to you. Get away from me," like he'd just been with their daughter or something. He was despised because he was that much of a good businessman, and he was despised for it. He had to go. Now, can Vin, what's his name? The other one in there, I'm forgetting names at the moment. Our other one who's going to do deals now. He's going to be more open, basically, with people, and people are going to be more willing to do business with him. So is he going to be able to get jobs done better because he's got more money, or is he going to be able to get jobs done better because people actually want to do business with him? and he's actually focusing on the sports side. This is where we're going to see how much of a problem Levy was, or how much of it actually wasn't all his fault. Because a good part of it was his fault with the deals and that. And someone on here just put what Redknapp said, basically. He said, because I was watching it as well, he blatantly said, yes, Scott Amos on 1325 said Joe Lewis had to sign off everything. Harry Redknapp said it on TalkSport. Yeah, I was watching it as well. He blatantly said that Levy did what he did, but when it came down to the crunch, Lewis was the one who said yes and no. So if he was the one who said yes and no, he's the one that's still there. Now, we all agree we wanted Levy out because he was done and dusted, basically, for several reasons. Hopefully, the club is now looking at the way to make Spurs bigger is to concentrate on the football side or to sell up. But if Lewis is just looking back and saying, right, how do I keep these fans happy without having to spend serious money? Right, I go and get rid of Levy because no one wants to do business and his business is just, let's say, too old school. We've now got someone in there who is willing to do business with the money he's got and basically say, right, does the player want to come to me? Yes, right. There's the money on the table, what you want. Go on to the next part of the deal, basically, instead of Levy pissballing about with 5 million, 2 million, and this and that. There's loads of ifs, buts, and maybes how this can go.
We need to see that they do again what they did with Xavi Simons, right? Where a deal can be wrapped up in 72 hours for a good player with good money. We need to see not every deal, because some deals are going to be more complicated, but we need to see that they're able to do that more often than the we're going to talk to Skriniar for 3 weeks in Italy, and we're going to talk to Eze for 2 weeks in Crystal Palace. You know what I mean? I think
let me give his wife a ring as well and see if she wants to come in here and where she wants to go shopping. Because that's basically how we do everything. Go on, Ben. Sorry.
I think the question is, are we going to believe the fairy tale? I think that's what it really truly boils down to.
Good point.
If we do, we're going to believe that Joe Lewis is now out of the scene. The beneficiaries of ENIC would be Viv and Charles. We're going to believe that the grandchildren of Joe Lewis are huge Spurs fans, and that they also didn't like the way Daniel Levy did things, and they identified that's how the fans saw it, and that's why Viv and Charlie pushed for things to go through with Levy leaving. But and if that is the case, fantastic. Look, listen, that's a $7.6 billion bloody company with ENIC, and if they're gonna push us through, then fantastic. But I do have a very quick question on Daniel Levy. Do you guys feel that it's not out the realms of possibility that the reason why Daniel Levy didn't take so many risks in the transfer market is because it could directly affect his wealth? And what I mean by that is he owns 25% of Tottenham, right? I'm not sure how many other chairmen. Which is essentially Tottenham, But I wonder how many other chairmen have that level of involvement with a club. Like, do you see what I'm getting at? Do you see the question I'm trying to ask?
Surely, I get what you're asking, because I think, according to what Connor was saying last night, it was he owns 28% of ENIC, but it works out to 25% of Tottenham. Either way, he's a rich bastard, isn't he? Either way we look at it, he's very rich. But
he's going to have a billion in his back pocket.
This is where I am going to go, and I'm going to agree with my man Lubo to show that I agree with people. If I agree, I agree. If I disagree, I disagree. This is where, surely, if he had done those better deals, in your question, this is just for your question. If that was the case, surely him doing better deals and getting better players and getting more trophies, etc., and finishing higher up the league would have made more money, which would have meant he, in turn,
absolutely
would have been worth more money.
It is risk based, though. It is risk based. I mean, things he didn't risk, Benji, stadium,
But Benji, as is anything, right? Like if I turn around to the wife and say, I'm going to build an outhouse in my garden because it will add 100 grand onto my house when we sell it, right? Surely that's the risk, because that's all dependent on what's the market like at the time when you buy it or sell it, right? So it's all, but in theory, this is, and Lubo, please, after this can go, Lubo said all along, if you win more trophies and you get more top four finishes, you get more revenue. Therefore, as that the club makes more money. The club is now worth more money. Then when you sell the club, you've got surely a bigger piece of the pie. So this is why over the years, people call me a flip-flop, Benji. This is why I think the more I've looked into this over the years, the more I lean towards, do I like Levy as a chairman? No. But do I blame Levy for the budgets of transfers and wages? I don't know. I feel like that might have been a directive very much coming down from Enoch. And we'll see, Benji, because if in this next transfer window, we've now been told, haven't we, the kids who are in their 60s, by the way, these kids are in their 60s, right? So the kids are going to run it differently. The kids are going to invest more money. If they start investing more money and we start breaking transfer fees and wage caps, that is surely going to have to make us all take a step back and go, hang on. If they've done that now, then they're the ones that were holding back Levy. So this is why when I think people have the conversation about Levy and Enoch, I do think a lot of this is going to be finger in the air and wait for the wind to blow into the future, and we'll see where we are.
That's what I said earlier. Yeah,
he had to go for me because it was how long he took to do deals. Even if they weren't big price, it was how long he took. It was the fact that chairman and chairwomen didn't want to pick up the phone and speak with Daniel Levy. So
he was past his sell-by date, basically.
It was. Is that fair, Lugo? What I've said there is pretty much what you've been saying in terms of him making more money for himself?
Yeah, definitely. My feeling was that if they had stretched and if we'd have got a better squad, stronger squad with players that can come in and out, we'd have had a top centre forward. We wouldn't be arguing about, Liverpool in the Champions League. We wouldn't be discussing whether he should have played more or Kane. We'd have had a much better squad with better forwards and someone else to come in and take that place. We'd have gone into Liverpool. That was their worst performance of the season. So for me, as a Spurs fan, looking at that was our biggest missed opportunity that I can remember in 60 years of following the team. But my point has never been you can lose an individual game in a final. You can win an individual game. You can win it through luck. You can win it through a referee's decision. For me, the whole thing about Enoch, and it has been Enoch, and yes, Levy is the front man, and he's the one who gets involved in the transfer deals. He's the one who says yes or no to, if you're going after Bruno Fernandes and he's 55 million, you don't go and offer 45 million. You have the conversation with Joe Lewis. If it's Lewis, Lewis is obviously signing the checks. We know that he's a 70% shareholder of Enoch. So at the end of the day, it's his decision is final. Whatever Levy wants, it comes to raising money. Levy's got to go to Lewis to say, can we invest X amount?
So if Lewis said no, when we're building a new stadium, then how can you blame Levy if he wasn't actually given the money to do it?
I'll tell you why. Because Poch was told there was no money for this. This is what I was told. Poch was told there was no money for transfers because of the overspend on the ground, which is, I fully understand that. That's common sense. If you start at 400 million, you go to 600 million, and you end up spending 1.2 billion. Then obviously it's a massive overspend, and the money that you thought was there for transfers obviously isn't because it's going on the build.
Telling me that state? Sorry, go on.
But where he's promised money for players who are sold and too high a price is put on those players, then that's Levy's fault.
Yeah. Look, guys, I want to wrap up in 5, Dan, just to say, I just want to wrap up in 5. Somebody asked about what the wages were for Spurs. This is according, again, give or take, this is according to Capology. So you got Xavi Siemens, I believe it is Siemens, because I keep getting called up on it. Siemens at 195, Romero at 195, Madison, Kudus, Mawani, Solanke, Paulinho, Kulu, and Brennan Johnson. So I'm guessing that Johnson and Solanke might have had. I'm pretty sure they weren't on those.
Has
So
Van
they've
der
had pay
Ven signed a new
rises.
contract? Because I've read a lot that they're willing to pay him 90 grand, 100 grand to sign a new contract. Because from what everything said last season and everything I read last season, he was actually on less money than Archie Gray.
Who was? Sorry, which one?
Van der Ven.
Yeah, Van der Ven. Well, yeah, they're talking about giving him a new contract. The fun.
Yeah. So I don't think he's actually on 90 grand at the moment, because everything I read last year, he was on around about 45, 50. And that's
Correct.
literally a lot of pages I went to. So if
Correct.
that's that, and they've been talking about signing a new contract because Real Madrid are interested.
Yeah.
Plus, he's a very solid player that we've got now as such. And he shouldn't be on less money than Gray or Dragusin, whatever.
Absolutely.
So it'll be interesting, Dan, to see how this changes. It'll be interesting to see if we look at this in. I don't think one window is enough to judge it. I think if we look at this in 6 or 7 players' new time, if that makes sense, to see how many go in there over that 150 mark. Does any of them go in at the 200 mark? Because at the moment, we've not broken the 200k wage barrier, have we? At the moment, Sonny was on it, but he's left. At the moment, looks like no one's on the 200. So in a year's time, how many players will be on 200 grand a week?
Yeah, and this is the thing. Here lieth the problem with Tottenham Hotspurs. I think from profit to wage ratio, we are 8th, 9th in the league.
I think
if this doesn't change, is it lower than that? You are kidding.
Yeah, I think we're about 41% then.
No way.
Benj,
yeah,
we're bottom, mate.
I think we're one of the lowest ones. Yeah,
we're
if
on
not
the lowest. We were the
kidding.
lowest. We were the lowest. Before this window, we were the lowest.
We was on 41%.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, if this doesn't change, we will never attract those bigger players. Because I don't think, as a whole, I don't think we're. I feel like we're quite attractive if you look at the club as a whole. But if this, what you're seeing right now in front of us, doesn't change in the next year, 2 years, we are never going to progress on the football field. I can tell you that much, and I know you boys know that.
No, but Benji, interesting. The 4 new boys are in the top 7, out the top 7 earners in the club. So that shows.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's true. That's very
showing
true.
ambition.
But again, and I am going to wrap up the show in a second. A lot of that for me will boil down to, again, it's easy when you're only paying 2 of them that for a year. Do you know what I mean? If you're paying that on a loan, it's very different to oh God, what's going on here? It's very different to paying that over a 5-year period. It's a huge difference on the P&L. But listen, guys, I do want to end the show there. Listen, I think we had some really, really good debates there. And for all those people who will say, oh, Savva and Lubo, we're fine. Don't worry. We're used to it. Don't worry. It's all good. It's Lubo's birthday. I'm going to send him a cuddle. It's all good. Guys and girls, what I will say before we wrap up, first of all, thank you very much to Emma. Said, morning, Savva. I hope you are well. I am very well, Emma. Thank you very much for asking. I'm going to go and get a haircut, though, and a beard trim because I haven't done that for 2 whole weeks now, and I don't ever go 2 weeks without that. So thank you, Emma. Really appreciate that. And big up to Tony as a member who said Paulinho, Xavi, Simmons, and Bentancur. So that's the 3 that he's going with. So the 2 midfielders with Xavi pushing on in front of them. So big up to you, Tony. I don't disagree. I think that's what Frank will do, but we'll see, won't we, over the week? Again, happy birthday to Lubo. I do. I feel a bloody mess, Scott. I do. I really do. Guys, if anyone wants really good replica football shirts, OK Jersey, they're that way. Just above Dan, where Dan is, OK Jersey. You can either go to okjersey.com or click on the QR code. When you're in there, find the shirt you want. Take about a week and a half to arrive, and put in the discount code, which is Savva, S-A-V-V-A. I know so many people find it hard to put 2 V's in, S-A-V-V-A, and Match Bingo, which is really good fun. If you haven't done Match Bingo, it's the chance to win up to £250 on the Match Bingo cards. Just scan that QR code, download the app, and when you create an account, just put in FHTV in the discount code, and they will give you a 200% match on the money that you put in. And you got a chance to win 250 quid. It's good fun. Please do that. If you do, please message me and let me know you have. It's good to know how many people are actually using these functions. So thank you very much to everyone. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Benji. Thank you, Lubo. It's good fun as always. Go and enjoy your birthday. Other than that,
thanks. Can I just say thanks to everyone in the comments for all the birthday wishes.
Oh, how lovely. I thought that was looking a bit small. There we go. Multi-person, this one. Yeah. Big up, guys and girls. I don't think, unless anything happens in the world of Spurs, I'll be back again today. I will be live tomorrow morning. Then we've got the watch along, probably live from about 4 p.m. tomorrow. So we'll go through all the second half scores. Some of these reprobates might be joining me. Who knows on screen? West Ham versus Tottenham. And then Sunday, we've got a show in the morning, followed by the Manchester Derby watch along in the afternoon, followed by the Spurs review in the evening. And it's just a stark reminder that my holiday is well and truly over and we're back working again. Take care, everyone. Much love. And as always, come on, you Spurs. I'm sending you over to Sean and Johnny at Football Inc. Please, when you get there, just say Savva Raid. Thank you very much. Much love. Take care. And as always, big up Andy Lester. Thank you very much, my man. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Big up to you, mate. And as always, come on, you Spurs.